Come ride with me and get high with me. We gon' blaze up all night long. We can roll a J, we can roll a blunt and pack a bowl or hit that ball. We jumping right in, we riding. This groove that move your feet and we supplying your high wind. You tuned into the beat that I'm producing on these sheets. Got you moving in your seat and now you begging for a truce. I think I'm proving I'm a G. Say less, don't stay stressed. Your opinions are baseless. I got all the flavor, homie. I done passed the taste test. I got all the private keys endorsing all the paychecks. And in the meantime, I just stay kex and bake cess until I am weightless and fly around aimless on Twitter and YouTube and all of those spaces where most of them faceless and JPEGs are apes and having debates on a regular basis of crypto and politics. We cover all of it. We won't always agree. So hit tokes and follow it with some edible chocolates. Come and get stoned with me. Get your lighters and try to light up runners, cause it's time for steak and bake. Grab your treasure and load that ledger, cause it's time for steak and bake. Twist those J's and pack that bowl, cause it's time for steak and bake. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, because it's time for steak and bake. And now we going, it's flowing, my music is the potion. The drums will start to roll and gain control of your emotions. And every time the horn blows, it sounds like an explosion. I keep hexagons floating from ocean to ocean. The system is broken, our money was stolen, its value eroded, the dollar's implosion. But now we got crypto, cash earned a demotion. We shift our devotions from fiat to tokens, dollars to stables. We turn the tables, so keep buying T-shares and make yield to pay bills. We're taking vacations from Vegas to Naples. I only smoke reefer, no I do not take pills. So form your opinions, I probably won't listen, cause I don't give a fuck what you think. Just go grab a vape pen and let's fly to space, man. Come and get crunk with me. Get your lighters and try to light up runners, cause it's time for steak and bake. Grab your treasure and load that ledger, cause it's time for steak and bake. Twist those J's and pack that bowl, cause it's time for steak and bake. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, because it's time for steak and bake. Come ride with me and get high with me. We gon' blaze up all night long. We can roll a J, we can roll a blunt and pack a bowl or hit that ball. Come ride with me and get high with me. We gon' blaze up all night long. We can roll a J, we can roll a blunt and pack a bowl or hit that ball. Get your lighters and try to light up runners, cause it's time for steak and bake. Grab your treasure and load that ledger, cause it's time for steak and bake. Twist those G's and pack that bowl, cause it's time for steak and bake. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, because it's time for steak and bake.
Yo.
And we're high. We gotta get a fucking sample of Maddie saying that so we can play it right when we fucking
No.
And we're high. That would be fucking the funniest shit ever. Y'all in the chat are fucking hilarious. Like I wasn't even thinking, and we were just catching up because I haven't seen Tangent in a minute. And we're just like joking in the green room talking about like nicotine pouches and like if they fucking selling them where he lives in outer space. And I look over and I saw there was like 17 comments and I was like, oh shit, people are like waiting on us. What the fuck are we doing? Like, and everyone was like, yeah, they're high and they forgot to fucking start the stream.
That comment by Bullish made me laugh because it would have been very plausible for that to happen, but that actually wasn't it. But it could have happened like that, where we just actually got high and didn't click the start button. Yeah, man.
He was waiting on us, man. That's funny as shit. But yeah, let's just get started. Let's just burn one.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you loaded up?
Yeah, I've been vaping, but waiting to rip this bong on stream. By the way, just before we start, right? Oh, actually, let's do this the right order. Order of operations matter.
Okay, so you want to just light them up? All right, put them in the air. Burn them if you got them. Let's see this fucking. There we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What's wrong? What's wrong? Wait, do you remember? You okay? Do you remember earlier streams? We used to do iron lung, and at the start, just get so fucked that I passed out on one stream once, guys. That was crazy.
Holy shit!
I think this might be a little bit blocked, but all good. I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna push through. Rip it, Lotto. Rip it. Oh yeah, dude, I've got some nice iced water here, just ready to ease the burn.
Oh my god, that's gonna. Whew, that got me. I don't smoke much. With whew.
So,
The only time
Same.
I really smoke is at like if I'm at a party or if I'm golfing. And I golf a lot, but the weather here has gotten cold, so I haven't really golfed in like probably a month.
I've also got these little incense towers, right? So it's like this little triangle. You like light it up. Check it out. So they're cannabis scented incense towers, like little incense Christmas trees. Very appropriate for the season, by the way. Accidental, because I've had these for a while. But it makes your whole room and house smell like you've been smoking weed all the time. So then your guests can't be like, you've been smoking weed. It just always smells like weed. It just sets that nice default, you know? So yeah, these go hard.
That's interesting. But there's no weed in it.
No. So no. These can be sold legally in Australia. Like, as in, no, there's no actual weed in it. It just smells like weed.
So you're not gonna like hotbox someplace with it. You can't. Just
I wish. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah, just cannabis incense. Scented. Sorry, cannabis scented. Can't even speak properly. I'm getting too high already.
I know.
Yeah. You okay?
Oh no, I'm good. Yeah, 100%. I'm a seasoned
So, yeah.
vet, but that's like coming out and taking a big hit. Like you're a wide receiver and you come out and you run a cross route across the middle of the field, and then you just get pummeled by like the safety, and you're just like, pop back up, get back on the horse, and the next play, let's go.
We should tell everyone how this ended up happening to be on today, where there are a couple of guys that were like, "Oh, hey, remember the steak and bake thing? Let's do steak and bake. Let's do steak and bake." Like, because we've kind of started smoking weed together every now and then, and they're like, "Let's do steak and bake," and I'm like, "All right, I know Freddie's going to be down." And I said, but just be aware, as soon as we say this to Freddie, he's probably going to want to do it straight away because he'll be keen. And so I warned them, and they're like, okay, how about Wednesday? So I asked you if you're down for Wednesday.
And this was like a day or two ago, right?
Yeah.
It was a couple days ago.
Then you were like, hell yeah, let's do it. And then I tell these guys, I'm like, yo, it's Freddie's.
Ooh, hold on. I think something happened to your mic.
Oh shit!
I think your mic cut out there. Was it just me, or did someone else hear that? I think you're good now, but it was like muffled and.
Seven and I have this trouble as well, where sometimes my mic, I'll try to stay like an even distance from it.
No,
so
good.
and then they were like, our bongs aren't going to arrive. So then we all tried to delay it, and then Freddie was like, let's just rip it up. Let's just rip it up.
Let's go. So yeah, he was like, let's do it Friday. And then I'm sitting here and I really have nothing to do today. But like, it was the perfect time. So I was like, yeah. And then like this morning hit and I was like, damn, all right, well, let me see if he still wants to do it. Come on, let's still do it. We'll do another one with them when their bongs come in.
I actually, you know what? I think if we had delayed it for them, because when they get those shipping, like when Amazon says it's by this day, sometimes it doesn't. Imagine if we delayed it to then, and then they're like, these bongs haven't showed up yet. It would. Yeah. So it can happen. So they're gonna try and come on with
anyone's bongs to get there late. What'd you say?
They're gonna try and make it on with spliffs. They're gonna try and make it in a bit with spliffs. And if not, like you said, we can just run another one at some point.
100%. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. I want to give a shout out to HP. I'm going to be hanging out with him in like a couple of weeks. So that's going to be fun. You doing anything for Christmas, for the holiday? You traveling anywhere? You going to be with family?
Yeah. Just the usual, stuff. Fortunately, I don't have to travel for it. But yeah. That type of stuff. How about yourself?
Yeah, we're going to be local, but we're going to go visit some people after the holiday.
Cool.
A little trip after the holiday. So yeah, I'm excited for that. When launch? All right, let me catch up on the chat here.
Did someone ask when launch?
Yo, your candle or your cone thing is cool because it looks like there's just like a joint burning.
Yeah.
On
Like
the screen,
noticed it smoking off to the side, and I thought I'd bring it into the camera.
No, it is absolutely perfect. Let me see here. You want to look at it? Oh, what? Yeah, we're all over the place, so everyone watching is probably like, "What the hell are these guys doing?" But we're stoned, so bear with us. The Iron Lung. I feel like Big K always won the Iron Lung. That dude could just rip like live rosin and just live forever. And it's just
I think he was well practiced. He was ready.
Spliff's ready. Pamp is resuming.
So yeah, this is dude. Do you know I've noticed? So Cash and I were running these pizza spaces, right? Like pizza party spaces, and I've noticed that those spaces and these types of streams get higher enthusiasm, higher engagement, and I think it's like the fact that people can feel like they are actually participating, like we're all doing it together, like whether it's eating pizza or smoking spliffs. Maybe one day we'll do one where it's both. But I think that makes it just more fun. So the viewer's not just sitting there watching. It's actually like they're actually getting involved. By the way, if you guys have got setups, you're welcome to come on. Like the chat is lit. You're muted.
I'm high, dude. Like, y'all gotta bear with me right now.
Realized you were talking for a bit. You were probably muted.
No, it's all good. So you just made me think of something with the pizza and the steak and bake. That would be cool. We did a bacon bake when we went camping this fall. So like we rent out all these cabins on this mountain, right? There's like 20 families and there's like 80 kids. And the kids just all go nuts and play together and hang out, and it's like cool. But at night when they go to bed, you're sitting around the campfire out front, and I took my cast iron and bacon, and we would just do bacon bakes where we would eat the bacon and just smoke J's at the campfire, and it is the greatest thing ever. So if we're going to be doing like a pizza or a food one, that would be super cool. We'd do a pizza bake or something.
Yeah. They go together surprisingly well. There's people in the comments saying like eating's actually after the smoking, sort of. I guess actually it's both. Before and after, but I had to, because I thought we were planning to delay, so I actually didn't have time to prepare snacks. But I do have some snacks here, but they were just like whatever I had lying around.
When you went to grab your lighter before the show, I went and got snacks. I actually have some really good snacks.
Boom.
Dude, check these out. The wasabi almonds, they're so good. You ever had these? Bro,
I've had wasabi peas.
But the wasabi almonds are the jam. I like wasabi peas. I feel like wasabi peas are a little bit spicier than the almonds. But I like
Freddie, I have to take notes. You've got so many good, like those nicotine pouches. I need to hit my friends with that so that they stop hitting the vapes. I need to get those wasabi almonds. I'm gonna actually write down like a little shopping list.
All right, let's see here. I'm glad Bullish joined us, man.
Yeah.
I've kind of
Yeah,
like
hell yeah.
stopped like going into spaces and like doing crypto, and I was just like living life and watching things and trolling in the background. But yeah, it's cool to see a bunch of people I haven't seen lately. Sandy Beach, good to see you.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Yeah,
Bullish.
Bullish
Wow.
is definitely active with the spaces, like the there's frequent spaces. Yeah, it's good.
All right, let's see here. Yeah, dude, I can't believe they don't sell these over where you're at, dude. You've never seen these before? The pouches?
I haven't, but I've never gone searching for them, and because none of my friends do it. So
I'm assuming you have like convenience stores where you pump gas and they sell cigarettes and stuff.
Yeah, like little 7-Elevens and servos and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if they sold them, they would definitely have them at the 7-Eleven. They have them at every 7-Eleven. And it's cool now because like there used to be only like 1 or 2 Zins and Ons. And then now you go in there and there's like 10 of them. But I don't know which ones to trust. So I do Tucker Carlson just sent his out. And these things are dope. I don't know. Does anyone in the chat, has anyone ever tried these? The Alp 20s?
I need to try that or something equivalent. So lots of my friends do those nicotine vapes, and I swear they're probably filled with stuff that's bad for you. We don't know because it doesn't say on the packet. It literally doesn't say on the packet what it is. I'm like, are you sure it's even nicotine? It could just be something even more addictive. They could just, like, if you think about it from the seller's point of view, right? They want that thing to be as addictive as possible. So if they're not writing what's on it, and it's made in China, why wouldn't they just pack it with like a man-made chemical that's even more addictive? They're certainly financially incentivized to. So I told my friends, be careful with that. But this is the solution, because that's all they're looking for. They want that buzz. They want the energy. They want the buzz. If we're out late at night, they don't care how it's taken, right? These guys would actually probably do it in a whole range of ways that are unsavory. But David just launched a coin. Do you know what? I bet it's like a coin that we already have. I put money on it. Almost burnt myself just then. Let's go. I am actually heading to Deck Screener to see what this coin is. If Abit actually just launched a coin, yeah, I knew it. It's not a new launch. Wait, by the way, I'm not going to say what the coins are, but there's a new coin that is competition to that coin. Oh, and by the way, people who are listening, it's not the one you're thinking. Like, I'm saying an actual direct competition. So we'll see what happens. Like, it should be hilarious.
I'm waiting on somebody.
Holy shit! Someone just created a deriv in the Charizard. Like, as in, it's a weed Pokemon cross meta Charizard. Holy shit! Wait, don't give away all the alpha on stream, bro. Like,
you're killing it. This is hilarious.
Holy shit! Wait, if Abit had actually launched a coin and that really was a coin launch, you know how sometimes when stuff is just so ballsy and inappropriate that you just have to respect it? I would borderline be respecting it if he was just like, yo, I just launched a coin. Bull market, bitches.
I thought that's actually what happened.
Bro, I was on a VC while this guy was trying to launch a coin, and he was high as, well, I assume he was high as on weed, and he was just freaking out and panicking, and I was just like, man, this is a terrible idea for this guy to be launching a coin. He did it anyway. It was crazy. Dude, I've actually got several short stories to do with weed, right?
Okay, let's hear them.
One of them, we were in this VC hunting for gems. And people started, in Telegram VC, you don't normally see the video. A couple of people had turned their video on, And so it just started a trend. Everyone just started turning their video cameras on, and there was like a screen full of people with video on. One of the dudes is doing dabs, which for those of you who don't know, it's like for people who have like a high weed tolerance, this will destroy you. Like it's that strong.
It's what Big K usually has in the Iron Lung challenge.
So he's smashing a dab, and I'm like, whoa, this dude's doing dabs. Like to me, that's already extreme. And then he starts doing them back to back to back to back. So when he goes for the second dab, I'm like, no, whoa, dude, what? But then he did about 5 or 6. Then a few hours later, so like I had a sleep, and then when I woke up a few hours later, this guy's messaging in the Telegram with nearly incoherent insults and like just like attacking everyone randomly, people who aren't even involved in the conversation, that they're just like GM. He's just like losing it at them.
Damn.
Like, and I remembered that he'd been doing, and so I was like, guys, this is the guy that was doing dabs. So he's probably just like completely doesn't know what he's doing. And so they it went on for a little bit longer. They just booted him out because it was just so wild. Like the messages didn't make sense. Crazy. They barely made sense. You could tell it was like an insult. Yo,
what is good?
Hey, how's it going, Tangent? Good to see you. Yo.
Good to see you, dude.
Yeah, everything's well. I'm telling stories about when drugs go wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm gonna mute and listen.
Yeah, welcome to the party.
No, I was just kidding. That was actually the end of the story. He got booted because his messages were just like out of line, like out of control.
Yo, Pulse Ray, how you been, brother? Are you able to talk right now?
Yeah, I'm just jumping out my car. I was watching X-Ray Chick play some pickleball. That's the cult that she's a part of right now. I got my crypto cult. She's got her pickleball cult. And no, things have been going really good. We did our launch. The free claimers are dumping the chart. And that's life in crypto, man. As
expected. Yep. I feel like that's the fair launch. Like you have to know that that's going to happen. It's like people are just going to dump. It's like, why are you doing this to my coin? But it pays off. I mean, look at Hex. Hex is dumped and dumped. Pulse is dumped, but they're resilient, dude. They're so resilient. And a lot of it is just because the community is just so big. There's so many people in the community. Like there's so many people I don't know in the community. That's how I know it's fucking huge, because most of my feed is like people who I've never like talked to or tweeted or streamed that with or whatever. So it's cool to see so many faces come on board during the bear too. That says something, man. Like this boom and there's so many different like sections and cliques in our culture, even within our own ecosystem. I don't know. It's just really cool to see. But so you had the launch and that's happening. And so I tuned in a little bit to Corey's stream that you were on the other day. Who was that an AI bot that you had on there? Who is that? What was that?
That was the evil address. The evil address doesn't have human form. He comes from another world. He's evil. He's out to take everybody's.
Oh, your mic is cutting out.
Yeah, you were breaking up for a second there.
My mic cut out for a sec.
Yeah.
Turn this down a little bit. Let me know if there's an echo. I got it on the stereo here. No, I was just saying that he's a tokenomic that it remains to be seen whether he's positive for price action or negative, because he's, like I said, he was given 65% of the tokens out of 1 million, which is insane, and he's out to mint on every journey. So he wants to mint every journey, win every lottery, and take everybody's dark. He's here actually to tell people to not even try to get into
hold up. So you thought crypto is not risky enough and dangerous enough and unpredictable enough. Let's insert an unknown, maybe AI evil entity to just come in here, hold 65% of the supply, and maybe do good or bad shit.
Yeah.
Well, remember when Richard Hart said you need a balance of predictability and unpredictability so that life can be both exciting but functional? You guys are going too far down one end of the spectrum, bro.
Listen to this. You guys were here back in the day. We spent the first 2 years of Hex defending the OA and telling everyone that it was on our side and that it was benevolent, and nobody listened to us. So we figured, let's take the other direction. Let's tell everyone to expect the absolute worst from this address and it be adversarial to them. And then if it turns out to benefit the price and the project later, then great. But for now, it's the evil address. It's coming after it's here to compete with you and to take tokens off the market.
Here to compete with you in a completely unfair way.
Yeah.
to an unfair. It's interesting that because there's another project that is like in a sense unique in terms of, so what you're basically saying is this is something that is nearly consistent among all cryptocurrencies, is that the narrative they feed you is that everything is designed positively, right? That's normally the narrative.
Right. Everything's going to be great. Just give us your money.
So the flip side is to say, hey, here's a token that breaks this one thing that nearly every project does. And there's another project called Only FUD where they also turn it on its head, where you're only allowed to FUD it. You can get kicked out if you
say something positive.
If you say something positive, anything positive, you can get muted and banned from the Telegram. You're only allowed to FUD it, which is something that notice how nearly all Telegrams, they'll kick you for FUDding the project if you come in and say something negative.
Right.
So you guys are kind of doing a similar, like both those projects are kind of doing a similar thing where it's like, hey, let's see what happens when we actually not only open the door to, but actually enforce the thing that every other crypto project is not allowing you to do, like that or they try to avoid. Interesting.
Yeah, lean into it. Lean into the hate, lean into the chaos, and definitely lean into the volatility. Because without volatility, this casino is boring, right? We have the equivalent of the Bitcoin halving every 45 days. So instead of waiting 4 years for there to be the pump and the spike, we do that every 45 days at anti-gravity.
Interesting.
So that's pretty
lean
cool.
into it.
The other thing I'm just thinking about this is if you've got an entity that's constantly smashing the price down to like zero or near zero, it actually gives you a longer runway for people to get in at like a similar price to each other. Whereas most coins are literally up only for a period. That could be one day if it's really aggressive, or it could be a period of like weeks or months.
Yep.
Normally, once you get to that point, people are thinking, it's like, I feel late now because it's done. Sometimes even single digit X's can make people feel late. But if there's an entity that's just constantly obliterating the price back down, in fact, an example of this is Spacebucks on Chia. They for a very long time, I think multiple years, preach this idea that it's meant to be worth zero, and the devs or whatever would actually obliterate the price back down. It was designed, they wanted it just to be a token that people would use almost like a test token, but on mainnet. And so recently the price actually went up a lot, so people actually then ended up making money on something that was always narratively not supposed to be worth anything. So I guess these are all interesting experiments.
Yeah, it really, and that's all of crypto is, an experiment, right? Like we saw, the only tokenomic that Bitcoin has is supposed scarcity, and the reason I say supposed is A, it's had inflation bugs, B, it's had been forked 2,000 times, and C, you got to wait till 2140 to see if it keeps its promise of 21 million tokens. I don't plan on being around in 2140. Do you guys?
If Richard does the longevity,
yeah, it depends on the sense foundation.
But dude, that you just absolutely savaged Bitcoin. By the way, thanks, bro. Like that was brutal.
Bitcoin is garbage. Bitcoin is garbage. Bitcoin had one chance to fulfill its promise of getting rid of the banks and making people free to send cash back and forth, and it came with Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash showed up and tried to right the ship and put Bitcoin back on its correct path, and you can see what's going on with Roger Ver for that right now.
He got jailed, right? He's in jail now.
He's looking at 109 years in prison. He did a really fascinating interview with Tucker Carlson where he talks about the government and the banks and all the shenanigans that they played on him by trying to fix cryptocurrency.
Is that prior to him? Like, so that interview you're talking about was prior to this most recent arrest, right? This was to do with his, because he had all those got arrested for fireworks or whatever.
Mm-hmm. This is like really, really recent. He's still waiting to go to trial. And
I know.
His lawyers told him don't say anything, but he went on with Tucker and he's like, listen, I want you guys to know why.
Oh, so the Tucker one is after these recent charges. Oh, damn! I need to see that then.
Yeah, it's incredible the courage he has. He gets so passionate about the violent and evil things that the government does, and it gets like, if you have a heart, then it's really hard not to relate to his passion for freedom and routing around governments and the military industrial complex.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I was always more of a fan of the BTC Bitcoin, but I agree with what you're saying about Roger and his attitude and passion for crypto in general, and how harshly he has been treated, even on the first run with those fireworks charges. He went to jail for selling something that no other person who even the distributors at a larger scale ever faced any kind of problem, fine, anything. So they basically went and found like this one thing that he technically did that was illegal that no one else was getting prosecuted for, and put him in jail for it, which is a gross mismanagement of their power.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about right now. I got high and got lost in the comments. I'm sorry.
He was literally the only person on the planet to ever be charged with that crime.
Yeah.
Ever. Selling fireworks over the internet. No one else has ever been charged for it. And it's because he spoke up about WECO and what the government did in WECO when he was running for governor of California. Crazy.
Yeah, dude.
That's nuts. Yo, so I have I think you got I think maybe here we go. My buddy, this guy, he was he's a friend of mine. He was a Genesis ETH validator, and he actually just converted to Pulse Chain. And he's a friend of mine. He's a friend of Axis Alive and his girlfriend Candace. Actually, I met this guy through Axis's girlfriend, and he started a token. It's a family coin, and the kids get paid in crypto, and it's their family's token. It's just a pretty cool concept. He had mentioned that in the chat. I was like, yeah, that's dope.
That's really, really cool.
So it's an educational tool.
Tie as much liquidity as you could to it, and then just, if they invest it right, treat them well, give them some liquidity, you know what I mean? If not, you could hold it. It'd be cool if there was a staking mechanism where you could
those kids are going to be doing extra chores in the bull market because they're going to see this thing run. They're going to be like, yo, what? 10 grand for taking out the bins, like fighting each other to try and be the one that takes out the bins and shit. And then in the bear market, spoiler alerts, those chores are never getting done ever again for a good couple of years in that base, bro.
Did you just describe front-running chores?
Crypto, man. Capital. That's hilarious.
Crypto, dude.
That would be cool shit.
But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, look, if this had been, I'm glad that he's saying that it's just like internally within his family as an educational tool to teach his kids about crypto, right, and how to transfer it and that. Because if this was actually the idea, like if this was Shark Tank and us three are the sharks, and a dude comes in and he's like, yo, I got this idea for a cryptocurrency. It's a crypto where you use it to pay your children for chores. I would be like, bow. You just use Bitcoin. Like you just use an existing cryptocurrency and do the exact same thing. Like you don't need, you guys remember Dentacoin? It's always the example I go to. They made a coin for paying dentists and everyone was just like, yo, you can just use Bitcoin to pay dentists. Like theoretically, like if they accept it.
Yeah, especially with
Ryan,
how high those prices are. What's up, Ryan?
What's going on? Pulse Ray Vision and OG Tangent. And of course, the wonderful Freddie Quotes.
What's good, Ryan? How are you, brother?
Living life, man. Couldn't be better.
Good. Let me introduce you to these guys. Tangent and Pulse Ray are from the Hex community. And Ryan is a buddy of mine. We worked at Verizon doing business-to-business sales together, like probably 15 years ago. And we set a goal of $5 million net worth in 5 years. And we both hit that goal just through different avenues. I did it through crypto. He did it through building businesses.
Damn.
And yeah, pretty cool. So Ryan's a good friend of mine. And we did a couple streams together, the 5 Mil 5 Year podcast or the 5 Year 5 Mil podcast. But we only did like 3 or 4 episodes and we kind of fell off.
Yeah, it'll happen again. You know, once we both get our schedules together. I've been traveling a lot, and you're busy, of course. You know, so I mean, at some point we'll have it going again. Maybe I don't know, once a month or once every few weeks or something. The content is crazy these days with what we've been talking about lately. So it's like we got a lot of stuff to go over. We can talk about. So it's very, very interesting stuff. I don't know if you're into that right now, but
I've spoken about that a little bit to the community, most recently in the last year. But getting status corrections and it's some deep stuff. Secured party creditors.
It's hours of conversation. I mean, the content is crazy. If I showed you my desktop, it's like PDF, video, 10-hour long, 5-hour long, 6-hour long, Word document, notes. It's insane the amount of content.
It's infinite content.
Really.
And that's what's going on. Like in that community, it's so young. There's not many people out there like disseminating information, how to step-by-step guides. Like, boom, these are the steps you need to take. If you want to take your rights back, this is what you have to do. You file this paperwork. You go here. You go to the State Department. You get your certificates of live birth. There's like a lot to it. And the last, like during the bear market, that's basically what I've been putting my time into is trying to figure out that process of political status correction, getting passports corrected, stuff like that. It's crazy, but it goes so deep, man. It goes even deeper than that. If you get into the financial side of it and become a secured party creditor, and you basically are the bank, and you're playing their game in the private, but but just explaining how to do all of that stuff and the process that you have to go through before you can do it. Like you have to get your status correction done first, and then you have to go through, and each section is like a huge array of steps that you have to take to get to the final product. But it's been extremely informative.
I was telling you I have a call at 3, and it's with one of the guys who are doing that. So he teaches the secured party process, the status correction process. You know, just the document, just to register it, it's 82 pages, I think. And you read it, and you might understand one paragraph. It's like, how can I have a document that's 82 pages, and I don't understand any of it? It's all written in a completely different language. You think, oh, I know
legalese.
English. I know what words are. And then you read the document, you're like, wait, I don't even know what any of these words mean.
Well, that's the thing. In legalese, everything has its own definition. And there are actually, like, you can get like the Black's Law dictionaries. Yep. They have the different like versions of those that like give you the definitions of what every single word means. Like person. What is a person? You would think, oh, I'm a person. So on this paperwork, are you a person? Yes. Boom. But under person, the definition in the law is a corporation, a trust, any type of being or paperwork or something that might not even exist. Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, you got to be careful when doing paperwork and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, it's a crazy process.
That's the end result. Infinite
money. It is the infinite money glitch. And I have I know people or people who say they do it and stream and talk about it, but I've never been able to accomplish it or get this. It's just when you read this documentation, there's so much of it and it's all in legalese, so you'll have to read it like 5 times before you comprehend a lot of it. It's like, fuck, it needs rereading and rereading and rereading and rereading. It just takes a lot of time.
I'll have it set up within 3 months. Within 3 months, I'll have some results to report back. The one I told you about before, that process through the IRS, that one seems a little bit sketch, but the secured party stuff and the status correction, I think within 3 months I'll have some real like results on that. So
dude,
we'll keep in touch, man.
If you do that, the content will be infinite. Like it will be more than you would be able to get out.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's
you
a
mean
good
as
thing.
far as like talking about it publicly, or just like as far as doing it? Yeah, but do you want to talk
publicly
about
and explaining it?
Because you have to be in good faith and honor the whole time. So if you say one thing and you're out of faith or you're out of honor, then you could potentially have repercussions. So you got to be really careful when you learn. You know, what if you say, "Oh, I use the word check instead of the word draft," or I use, you know, there are all these distinctions within legalese. If you say the wrong thing and it's on a public network, then they're going to get you. Oh, you said this when you meant, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You got to be real careful. So I got to become basic, get results, and then go to the next level. And then once I'm at the next level, above that basic level of getting results, maybe like intermediate to master level, then start talking about it publicly. Because in the beginning, I want to make sure it all is smooth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Like I didn't really talk about hardly any of it like I said, I just in this last 6 months have started talking about it with the community. And that's because I got my passport back from the State Department. And I was like, okay, I've gotten through it. And even then I still don't 100% feel comfortable talking about it, but it's definitely some very interesting stuff. And I can give you information to read and books to read on it. And, if anyone in the community wants to learn about it, but it's pretty cool.
The redemption manual, the one that I sent you, goes through all that stuff. It's crazy. It's 800 pages, 600 pages. I emailed it to you, I think, earlier today. I've been messaging
Yes,
about
I looked through that.
Dude, it's insane. It goes the backstory, the history of it, up till present day, up till legality. I mean, I spent the last 2 days just reading through it. I've got 80% done, 60% done, like kind of bouncing back and forth. But anyway, it's really high quality content. I mean, anyway, I don't want to take over the entire chat with this conversation about the status.
No, it's good. It's good.
It's just a really, really powerful stuff there. Really incredible.
Marco is in the chat. What's up, dog? Marco
I was thinking you guys could do that thing where, I don't know if you know, there's a popular TV show in the UK where they follow these specific people. It's like called 7 Up or something like that. And it's like every 7 years they go and meet up with these same people and see how their life is progressing. And they've been doing it since these kids were kids, and now they're like old. So you guys could do it, obviously not on that kind of time frame. You could do like every year one of those episodes that you were just talking about, where you talk about how the like 5 mil dream thing is going. Freddie can be like, well, my bag is actually down like 99% double back to back, but but we're still good. And
bro, that's
and
funny.
Then you just do it like every year. So
it was
like the bull and bear cycles. 1 minute Freddie's in like a golden castle, then he's like out on the streets. Like,
that's hilarious.
Crypto just hit 100. Just hit Bitcoin just hit over 100,000 today.
Yeah, we get to do this celebration over and over again. I'm going out for like expensive dinners and popping bottles of like unknown like expense champagne, and then it's like then you just get to do it again and again and again.
What do you think? You thinking 250 by the end of the year? 120, 130, 140? I mean, how do you guys measure it? You measure it based on Bitcoin? Do you measure it based on hex value, Ethereum? What do you guys what do you watch it by? How do you measure it?
I'm kind of in a daze, like as in once it got near 100K, I just stopped measuring altogether. Like as in, yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah.
Do you have some kind of?
I don't know.
I didn't hear the question, Ryan. What was the question?
The question was just like, how do you measure it? You know what I'm saying? Do you measure it based on like the Bitcoin value? Do you measure it based on like the Hex value? Do you measure it based on the Ethereum value? Like what do you watch as far as like, oh, the price has gone up, the price has gone down? You know what I'm saying? Like you say, what's your benchmark?
Like, if we were just going to go and look at, if you're like in a rush and you could only look at one thing to see how the crypto market is going. For me, actually, it probably would be the Pulse chain price. No, probably the Bitcoin price. I'd probably look at the Bitcoin price.
Or like NFTs are ripping, it's about to be the very end.
Wait, there's a
fucking sell.
Total cap.
Sell.
You can look at total cap, and that is an idea of like they try and measure kind of like the value of everything in the space. It's not very accurate, but it would give you an idea. We should actually start looking at that more and more. I think we're in the trillions, right?
Yeah. Market cap?
For what?
Total cap.
Total crypto?
Even though it's
cap, I have no idea.
Like 6?
Even though it's like,
or no?
It's not technically the whole industry, but it's up there. It's most of it.
Yeah, that's insane. How about that? Fred, do we have an ability to watch? Are people on here conspiracy theorists? What about that Instagram short I just sent you? Did you get a chance to watch that? And you're live right now. But then,
wait,
we watch that live? Oh, go ahead.
3.5 trillion.
I want to get people.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty.
That's insane. That's a lot of cash. 3.5 trillion, and that's all altcoins and Bitcoin, everything, all cryptocurrency all together.
That's it. It attempts to be everything, but remember that they're never going to be able to like accurately measure the tail end of it as it fans out into like 50 billion coins per day.
Yeah, right. Of course. Yeah, and then a lot of them they don't have any value. Like in brand new altcoins or something like that, they're valueless, right? Yeah, maybe top 100 would be good. Is there a way to track like top 100 coins, or like what's the market cap of the 100th coin? I wonder. If you look at the top list, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the way down to number 100, that might be a good measurement. Because after 100, they have to have a pretty low market cap, right?
Well, yeah, it kind of like tails out, right? Like so that if you just capture, just like how Bitcoin itself is like 60% of the entire industry. Like you said, if you did top 10, you're going to get most of it, maybe 90%. Then if you did top 100, you're going to get like 99, and then all the other coins only add together to make F all. Would you believe that I drew this flag pattern on this chart back here in like July?
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah. Because you just let it ride through it.
Beautiful.
And I was suggesting that like this could happen, right? Like if that flag, and that would take the industry up to $5 trillion. By the way, it kind of is happening now, but just late. Like if you extended this flag to be here, dude, what the F,
even harder.
And then that'd mean same flagpole, I think. High TA. So now we're only going to 4.6 million according to this flag.
What's the peak there in dollars as far as?
Did I say million? Trillion. I meant.
No, you said trillion, I think. What's the peak there? 150, 160?
All-time high? Like as in
at the top of the flag right here. If it goes all the way to the peak there, the top of the flag, what would be that USD?
At like $4.6 trillion.
But
that's only another trillion from here. So it's like very doable. That might not even be the top.
I see. Yeah.
So like
I always just look at the price as far as the what the price of Bitcoin is at that moment. Whether it's like 94,000, 98,000, I think it just went over like 102,000, something like that. Is there a way to distinguish, or this is the total market cap of all crypto?
This is their best attempt to capture all of crypto.
Got it.
Like they try and get everything, but it's dude, you're not going to have like the coin that Abit just launched is not going to be included in this cap.
Sure.
By the way, this so this goes all the way up to over $10 trillion if you're using the fib extensions. So that's another 3x.
What's your expectation? What's your prophecy? OG Tangent. I don't know your real name. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I don't.
Tangent. Call him Tangent.
Actively do not make forward-looking statements. But I mean,
Okay.
people can look at these flags and stuff. If you like flags, this flag goes to like between 4.5 and 5 trillion. And if you like fibs, 10 trillion. But by the way, that doesn't mean that those are ceilings that can't be passed. It could go up to 1 million billion.
Could is the key word there.
Could.
I think we see Bitcoin. I don't know. Didn't Richard say Bitcoin could hit like 250 or 275 or some shit like that?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
I think it has my personal opinion. Obviously, who knows the future, right? I mean, it's all a gamble. But just watching the Bitcoin price specifically, it seemed like right leading up to Trump's getting voted in, right before the election, the week running up to it, and then after he won, that's when the price really started going up dramatically. And so it's like directly related. And then we've been on this bull market since then. Because he made this dream team, right? He has RFK Jr., he has Tulsi Gabbard, he has Elon Musk, he has all this dream team, the Avengers, whatever you want to call them. And my prophecy, who knows the future, but my idea is that the American people are going to watch what he does and how well that team performs. And if they perform well, they stick together, there's cohesion. And then, leading up to him actually becoming the president, he's the elect right now, right? So up until that time, I think that we'll be on this bull run. And it'll kind of like hit some sort of, straightaway. And then depending on the performance of that team, the price will go up or down. I think there's a direct correlation between this because people are expecting or they're really bullish on his ability to bring the economy to do well, right? Under his last presidency, the economy did really well. People were seeing great results. They had enough money. Gas was cheap, all that good stuff. So I think there's a really strong correlation between him being voted into presidency compared to the Bitcoin price at this time, the current bull market. I mean, am I off there? Or what's your opinion on that?
My friends say the exact same thing. Like they also noticed what you said about how like everything was pumping specifically around that time, around that event.
Yeah. So, but I think that we're in this anticipatory, I don't know what you'd call it, this anticipation stage where we're seeing like, hey, what's going to happen? Everyone's excited, lots of energy, lots of momentum. Okay, let's see, does the war get, do both the wars finish before he becomes president? Does he pull through on these promises that he made, right? And let's see what happens. And so if he follows through on those promises, I think it's going to continue a bull run next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe as long as that cohesion stays together. But as long as if we see like cracks in that armor of that dream team that he made, so to speak, then I think that we're going to see a reflection of that in the crypto price. So I don't know. We'll see. That's just my personal opinion. Who knows? Really, obviously, it's all prophecy. It's all gambling in some way or another. Who knows the future? But I just know. Really, I think that's a key indicator. Is like, hey, watch the American presidential situation. And based on that, I think you can make a good indicator on if it's a good time to pull back or double down. Or I don't know if you guys are doing dollar cost averaging or what your techniques are, but you know what I mean?
I totally agree with you. I think that, he made the remarks about adding Bitcoin to reserve or back up the dollar. He talks about fixing the SEC and a lot of problems there. So I think you're dead on where it's going to run until he gets in office, and then it's going to do another little sideways as an action like we had for the 8 months where people were like worried about what was going to happen with the election. So I think, there'll be a little pause there to kind of like see what direction it is with the dream team. I think that's a really good prediction.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes well. I mean, as an American, I'm like, let's go. Like, let's fix these problems. Let's get this nasty cereal. Let's get the Canada style cereal. That's a big RFK debate was about the blueberry cereal or whatever. They have like 3 or 4 different things in the Canadian one, but they have like 17 different ingredients in the American one. And actually, if you do research into that, you find out that all the food coloring is like insects. Did you know that, Fred? Like if you look
the red is like some parasite that they just like bake and then like crush down. Yeah.
to make the food coloring. It's crazy, dude. When you dig deep into this stuff, we just look at things and think, oh, this is like normal, so we assume that it's okay. But it's like the person who did it doesn't have your best interest. You know what I mean? They're doing it because it looks red and they can get by without, getting it doesn't get blocked. Enough people don't even know what it is. Red dye 40. Okay, what is that? Sounds like a food coloring. No, it's an insect from South America. They bake and grind up. It's so weird, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. There's one that's like a minor counter, right? But I still heavily agree overall. There's some fungus, I think it's cordyceps, that is like, if you research what it is, it's disgusting. It's like absolutely disgusting. I might have the wrong one, but it's one of the mushrooms that is like good for cognition. So there's one in the set, there's like lion's mane and there's another one.
Turkey tail and reishi.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of them that are like known for cognition.
But one of them is the one that you're talking about, the one that grows on ants.
It's like does it kill it? It turns the ant into a zombie or something. It kills it, and then it buries itself, and then this is the fungus that like grows out of its ass when it's dead or something. And so it's like dead ass fungus, but it makes you smart.
Yeah, cordyceps is in a lot of supplements.
So theoretically, something that sounds disgusting could be good for you, even though we don't know all the side effects. But I agree, the ones that are typically done that are like artificial preservatives, coloring, flavoring, longevity, I already said preservative, are normally really all bad for you. Like normally really, really bad.
Yeah, my thing is just who knows. Like on the ingredients, I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm not a scientist. I mean, I've done any research into the health aspects of it. But just the ingredient list should say bug. It shouldn't say red dye 40. It should say this is a bug from South America. The name of the bug is onomatopoeia bug, wherever the hell, It shouldn't say red dye 40.
Oh, that's a great point.
It should say what it is.
They are considering that the processing has taken away the need to say what it's actually made from.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. So they call it the end result when it's not that at all. It's like if you have a banana smoothie, it's not a smoothie. It's still a banana smoothie. It's a banana that's been mashed up into a smoothie. Yeah, the
ingredient is still banana, even though the process was blending it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So somehow they get away with that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of even B vitamins, like B enriched, right? They just spray folic acid, or they spray B vitamins on top of the plants, and the plants absorb it. And then they say that, your body can't break that down because it's a chemical. It's like a difference between folic acid and folate. I don't know if you've done a lot of research into this. If you have if you have a certain gene, you can do a methylation test. And then if you have a certain gene, it shows that your body can't break down one of these chemicals. So it sits in the brain. It gives you like depression or anxiety, or cause negative side effects. And but they say that it's just the plant is enriched, but they just make it in a lab. They put it in a spray bottle. They spray it on the plants. They say the plants are B vitamin enriched, but then your body can't break down those vitamins because it's not a natural compound. It's a scientific compound the plant absorbed. And so when you look at our food supply, almost all of it is scientific. It's like very little of it. It's like whole organic food. And so when you eat food, you get very little nutrients, really, relative to, let's say, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 100 years ago. I'm not a scientist, obviously, just a guy, but I'm just saying, just from basic research, you can find out, oh, wow, like a lot of the stuff we eat is not actually satisfying. So we have to supplement with vitamins, and we have to, it's really, I don't know, corporate lobbyists. Yeah, exactly right. Yep.
Dude, I always find it, sorry, I find it really interesting when, say I say to someone, hey, like, I'll say some statistic, and they'll be like, oh, but how do you know that's true? I'm like, that's their statistics. Like, I'm using the information from the people who are on the other side of this, that are trying to make this look normal or good or whatever. So they're not going to lie to give me an attack vector. So you have to like it's only this or worse, bro. Like it like what do you like? How do you think that's what like?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Like they're trying to like say like go against what I'm saying by saying that I can't trust the statistics, but I'm like, it's this or worse. It's literally
yeah.
This is their numbers. Like what?
It's insane. I mean, it's insane. And people read them, and what we do is like the brain works that it only sees a few things and then it fills in the gaps, right? So we're always making assumptions. So our eyes just gloss over things that we see all the time because we think, oh, we see them all the time. They don't cause a danger. If you go back to your primitive living in the jungle idea, it's like, oh, I've seen this tree 1,000 times. I know there's not going to be a lion in the tree or something, right? Like, there's no danger there. So our brain just fills in the gaps and doesn't really like adjust to what's going on. So same thing in our modern society. Like you look at a dollar bill, for example. I've just been on this topic recently, so it's all in my head. Like you just see all these things on there. You're like, oh, this is normal. I've always seen this dollar bill. It's just normal. All these symbols, all this stuff. This is just normal. And just your brain just glosses over and just, hey, let me just buy a soda. Like you don't even look at it anymore because you see it all the time. It becomes normal and you don't find any danger in it. But if you really start to break it down and go, well, what is this? Like when I get this utility bill, like, why is there a barcode? Why is there a coat of arms on it? Why is there a state like, what does all this actually mean? And when you dig into it, you go, oh, wait, they're taking advantage of us. Like this whole system is created to really force us to not go against or not create conflict, just to go with the flow and just accept whatever they push onto us, right? Whoever they is, right? I have an idea of who it is, but I don't want to throw it out there today. But the idea is just like, they just, whoever it is, just accept it. Just accept it and move on. And don't question the authority, or we're going to put you down and make an example. So it's really
we don't want to get Freddie's channel banned.
Right? I was thinking that earlier when we were talking about the Red 40. I was like, this shit's going down, son. They're taking it off.
We love bugs. We love bugs. We'll all eat bugs and be happy and own nothing.
Wait, that should be the counter. That when they say you're going to eat bugs, it should be like we're already eating bugs, bro. Like,
right? Exactly.
That is a perfect segue. The fuck you munching? The fuck you munching? Did anybody bring any munchies today to steak?
Oh, I wish I would have known. I already ate some munchies. I would have brought some. I already ate them earlier.
I'm going to show off my second layer of munchies here. The first layer, for those who weren't tuned in earlier, we have the wasabi almonds. But now I'm in the mood for some Reese cups, some Hershey, the Christmas mix. The Christmas mix.
I think the snackiest looking thing I've got is this. See how it's like
definitely
the Willy Wonka style like wrapping that looks all like colorful and shit.
It looks savory.
It's the gold. Don't they? He gives out the gold ticket to the kids and stuff. He's like,
oh yeah.
Did you say it looks savory? This is like pure sugar.
Is it really?
Yeah, this is Turkish Delight, so it's like chocolate covered. Do you guys not have? You guys don't? Maybe different brand or something.
We don't have that one. No, but I've seen that. I think Turkish Delight. I've heard the name before. I heard it's quite popular.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's my favorite. For when I'm high, which is now all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm so jealous, man. I haven't been able to smoke in like a little while. I feel like I'm breaking the rules of steak and bake. What do you got? What are you pulling up here?
These are craisins. Have you guys heard of craisins? They're like is that? I don't know if this is like some kind of
craisins, but from cranberry.
Is this some like GMO mixture between a cranberry and a raisin, or is it just dried cranberries? Yeah, I think it's just dried cranberries. They just look like raisins. Let's find out.
Fred, do you want to watch that? You want to watch that short I sent you? I want to get you guys' opinion.
It didn't pop
if it's
up.
Real.
I didn't get it.
Oh shit! Okay, hold on. Let me send it again. Oh, I hope I saved it. What the hell? Oh man, I was just watching it. Oh, I think it's right here. Hold on. Yes, here it is.
This is the hex.
I want you guys I want to see if you think it's real or not. It's conspiracy type stuff. Okay, hold on. I just sent it.
You're trying to get my show taken down.
Man,
I don't know. We don't have to watch it. You can watch it later. But you can say you don't agree, to whatever's in the content, right? You can say that, hey, I'm just showing this for educational purposes only. No, not educational. I don't know. Just say it's a parody. We made the video. It's a parody, and if you don't like it, then what you munching?
when they take your channel away, you barely get to say anything at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we shouldn't watch it. It's a governmental video. It's a video from a government official in the EU. So, anyway, watch it later. Tell me what you think.
I definitely will.
She's just saying crazy stuff, and I'm like, I'm trying to see if it's dubbed or not. Like, is it dubbed or is it real? Because if she's saying what she's saying, it's crazy.
Yo, I saw a video of Eminem promoting Pulse Chain. Did you see it? It's clearly AI, or is it?
No, I haven't.
It's dope, dude. He's got the beanie on or whatever, and he's just shilling the absolute shit out of Pulse Chain. It is so good.
I want to see a Pulse Chain rap.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I mean, you could do AI songs right now are crazy. I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of the stuff they do. I mean, it's really insane. You could make a song of anything.
You guys heard of Harry Mack?
Yeah, dude, Harry Mack's the beast. Freddie Close to
check this out. Check this out.
Oh, Harry Mack! Oh, you visited him? No way. What? Where? What location? He came to DC or VA or whatever. Baller.
Yeah, it was the Energy Exchange tour that he did, and he was down in Richmond. And
no way.
Yeah, so like I got pictures with him. And I got that poster autograph, which was pretty dope. But yeah, he's Harry Mack's the man. Like he's awesome.
He's the man, bro.
Whoa! Did you just hold up something that was like signed by him or a picture of you guys?
Yeah, no, it's the poster. So he came here and like did this whole set. It was wild. So this was the poster, the 2022 Energy Exchange.
Perfect, dude. That's sick. That is sick. So you know exactly.
I got pictures. Oh yeah, 100%.
I want him to do some kind of like crypto.
So I paid. Check it. I paid because when he was like getting started and shit, he would do, and he probably still does it on Wednesdays. He'll do like a 3-hour live stream, and all he does is people just throw words in the chat, and he freestyles for like 3 hours straight, and just raps all the super chat words that people put in, and it is so dope. It's so good. Like, he's crazy, bro. But back in like 2021, I think it was near the peak, I definitely paid, and I was like boom, 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 and I threw like Hex, Richard Hart, and all this shit. So you can actually search Harry Mack, and he has had like rap about Hex. Like 2 or 3 other people did it too. There's probably like 3 or 4 videos of different times he did it on his channel, and you can search for him on YouTube for sure.
Legendary. Actually, yeah. You just reminded me. I think Day 43 might have got him one time.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
I did it. I donated to him for my business, one of my business sites. I had him do a shout out to my business site. Yeah, and also to me. I did twice. One to me personally, and then one to one of my business sites. So he's the man.
Cool.
I watched. Cool. He was like really doing those long freestyles during COVID. Like no one was going out, right? So he was doing So I used to have him on his background, all the time. I'm working, doing my stuff, and I listened to his whole 10-hour freestyle during one busy work session live. So that was really an experience, man. The guy freestyled for 10 hours straight for 1 million subscribers. Literally 10 hours of freestyle. I mean, freestyle for 30 seconds. It's crazy. He's like a finely tuned machine. You know what I mean? Like if you got some like Hondas, you got some Lamborghinis, you got some Maseratis, Like he's something finely tuned. That guy is built to freestyle. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the way that he trained his brain over years, it's just insane to be able to transition. But if you look at him, a lot of the stuff he does, he has mastered like a transition, like just switching up a cadence or a rhyme scheme. And if you can do that, that is the hard part. Like that is the hard part. Like finding words that rhyme is, it's easy. Slim, Jim, rim, him, like whatever. But the transitions are what's hard, and he has mastered those.
He says it's from drumming. He used to be a drummer, right? So because of his drumming background, he knows how to go into all these rhythmic patterns.
Cadences. That makes sense. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's wild, dude. I've fallen off his stuff a little bit more recently, but during the pandemic, dude, I was hard. I was glad to hear you back every day.
Yep.
The Wordplay Wednesday. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so good.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to look at this. I'm going to pull this up. This is the hex chart. And if you zoom out just a little bit and then zoom out a little bit more and then maybe one more or another more, and you just keep zooming down, this thing looks real pretty. That looks so good. Oh, what do you know?
All up.
Which hex?
On Pulse.
Let's go.
So I think I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure Hex hit 56 cents on September 11th in 2021. And the only reason I know that is because that was the day we recorded the music video for Furu's eulogy. And everyone was here. And I don't know, that was crazy. And then so if this was the bottom, was that the bottom? Did it get lower than this? I don't think so. Yeah. So the bottom was exactly 3 years to the date. So I wonder if exactly 1 year it would hit in that range again. If we could be seeing the hex high then. That's interesting.
What's the current hex price?
Just under 3 cents.
What's the high?
56 cents. And 3 years ago, 2021, September of 21.
Freddie, remind everyone how when we hit one for the first time on the way up, people lost their minds.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
people.
Dude. It was nuts.
People lost their minds.
So check it out. It was on New Year's Eve. I remember the day, dude. It was New Year's fucking Eve, and Crypto Coffee was streaming at like 5 p.m, and we were headed to a friend's house for a New Year's Eve party, and we got there, and it went all the way up to 2 cents that night on New Year's Eve, and we were just going absolutely insane because it hit a penny. And then it hit 2 pennies, and we were like, whoa! Like we weren't expecting 2 cents. We were just expecting a penny. And for it to come on New Year's Eve, like while we were out partying, that was a blast, dude. But yeah, dude, man. And then it was just crazy after that.
So like that, Ivan talks about these like mental barriers, right? He thinks the same thing's about to happen to Bitcoin. That now that it's over 100. No one gives a shit whether it's 100, 300, 700, 900. It's all the same order of magnitude. So he reckons this thing could just go absolutely bonkers, dude. Like that the next resistance is really a mil. And so I know that sounds extreme, but I think for Hex, that 1 cent level was kind of like Bitcoin hitting maybe like, I don't know, $1,000 or something like that. It was a very significant level. And then after that, it was just a blur. I don't even remember 10 cents. I remember 1 cent. I don't even remember 10 cents, honestly.
Me neither. Yeah. I remember 20 cents or 23 cents. It was like in the end of August.
Wait, I remember talking to someone when it was 12 cents. And I was like, yo, this has gone up a lot. I should probably sell some. And then I was like, what am I talking about? I need to buy more. I need to buy more aggressively. And I did. And that looked like it was working out tremendous until later. But yeah, I managed to switch that around, man. On that day, I was like, what am I talking about? Like, this is time to double down.
Yeah. It was getting crazy at that point. It was getting a lot of fun.
Hold on. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I did the actual opposite of that. When HexFit hit 50 cents, I was convinced that we had decorrelated from Bitcoin. I was like, we're off on our own. I mean, there's that big delay from the Bitcoin peak. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, we're decorrelated. We've broken crypto. We've broken the 4-year curse. And I did not take nearly enough profits at 40 and 50 cents. And that's the painful lesson that you learn. Like every cycle is a PhD in pain. A lot of people
did. Yep.
and the next cycle is another PhD in pain and mistakes.
I feel like it does. You do learn though. And it can be a pain. And with big gains come big pains. Biggie said it, mo money, mo problems. But yeah, I think everybody wished it. So, but that peak and then the bear hitting, like everyone thought that Pulse was going to launch and no one wanted to sell anything because they were like, I'm going to get a copy. I'm going to get a copy. I'm going to get a copy.
Yeah.
And then it took longer and longer for it to launch. And then by that price, like by that time price was down, you're like, well, fuck, I'm not selling that. I don't know.
Great point.
Like,
wait, that's a great point.
But yeah, it was a lot of people that I've spoken with were like, we should have taken more in hindsight 2020, right? That's why it's so important to have a mode or a plan to DCA out as much as it is to have a plan to DCA in, right? So, and then if you just stick to the plan, you're good. You know, it is what it is. You ride it up.
Yo,
you wait to buy back.
I gave this guaranteed way to be able to sell the top in a couple of Twitter spaces a few weeks ago. I said, I've got this guaranteed way to sell the top. Guaranteed. 100% guaranteed. You sell some crypto every day from now until you're absolutely sure you're in the bear market. And then you'll have sold the top. And so there's some truth to that. And it's in line with what you just said, Freddie. If you DCA out, then you have to get some kind of like sells that were at highs.
Yeah, small percentages. 5% every double.
Oh, I say 10% every double. And then if it drops by 50%, put half of it back in, 5% back in on every dip. So 10, 5, 10, 5, 10, 5 during the bulls.
Oh, so 10% out, but only ever 5% back in.
Yep. Every time the price doubles, you sell 10%.
Half the sell was a perma sell, and then the other half a sell is to buy the dip. I actually really like that.
Yeah, I was able to trade Ethereum against Hex during the first bull run, and it worked out pretty well because I mean they're both going up. I did end up paying $30,000 in Ethereum fees, which has scarred me for life and made me a perma ETH hater. So I'm really excited to be trading on Pulse Chain this bull run.
Yeah,
dude, Pulse Chain's already getting a little bit expensive. Like not to the point where you actually have to worry about it in dollar terms. However, I've seen people saying they're like paying nearly $1 for gas on some things.
Yeah, the problem is it's so volatile. It goes up so quickly that you're trying to estimate the gas fee, then you're trying to bribe the validators to get in the front of line. But even though you go into the settings and you double the fee, it's already quadrupled. So there's been some times where the fee is absolutely insane, And I'm sure that our community and the brilliant people like David Feeder and Bretep and those guys, I'm sure they'll figure a way to like calm it out a little bit so that we don't have those stuck and failed transactions during those spikes.
Yeah. Gas estimation has always been tricky, like in all blockchains.
Yep. For sure. Now, Tan, did you get your the dark airdrop? Did you send me an address for that?
No. How would I have participated in that?
We had there was like 17 different communities, like Randy Hilarski, Rags to Riches,
maybe I did get it and didn't notice.
Yeah, check your wallets if you got the Forge NFTs airdrop, if you got the Nope airdrop, if you're part of Dollar Vigilante or Sloth's Treehouse or Frank's Mastermind.
Did you say it's an NFT, like as in the thing that got airdropped?
We dropped 2 tokens and 2 NFTs to each address.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to take a look. I'm sure maybe some of my wallets would have got it.
Yeah, check it, and then DM me an address.
Sure.
And Freddie's one of the OGs though. Freddie was throwing money in the Wishwell. Freddie was throwing money in the mining. I bet you he's in the top 10 of dark holders, is what I'm guessing. I bet you're in that top group that's got over 1,000.
No comment.
Yes, correct answer. Yes. I'm there.
No comment.
I keep asking Brandon. I'm like, Brandon, how many dark do you have? And he's like, I'll never tell. I'm like, I want you to be one of the big holders. You know.
Are you just testing their OPSEC? Are you testing their OPSEC to see?
No. I'm trying to be generous to people that I know that are friendly to the community, that aren't gonna dump on my head and take advantage of anything. I want these people to be, invested and along for the ride. I want all you guys checking in on all the lotteries and payouts that we're giving away. Stickiness, that's what I'm looking for. I'm here to addict you guys. Addict you with money.
And that's like what it all comes down to is community. Like, who's going to stick around? Like, who's going to be here the longest in this crypto journey? It's a common theme. It's definitely a common theme throughout everything in crypto.
Yeah, community is number 1, charts number 2, and number 3 is community. Again, it's a community sandwich. Community, chart, community. So,
I'm probably just high with this idea, but it might be worth looking into. There's another community that's taken the dark MAGA aesthetic, like the actual Make America Great Again. I think Elon Musk talked about something to do with like dark MAGA, and it's got like that kind of like dark red aesthetic. I thought, if your community's called dark, then there might be some like collaboration type stuff that could go on. Maybe, I'm not sure.
I'll check that out. That Mark Daga, dark MAGA.
Dark MAGA.
And you don't have to do this on stream or anything, but I'd love Tangent's take on the dark chart and see what he thinks about where it's headed and its highs and lows.
What do I search? In fact,
dark pulse. There's a bunch of darks, but if you go to like say Dex Screener, it's like the second or third one down. It kind of looks like a crystal snowflake, colorful crystal snowflake. It's got
dark matter.
Yeah, it's got about 8 or 9K liquidity in that pair with pulse.
Dark. So what's dark matter? Is that because it says dark matter on the logo?
Mm-hmm. Is that Gecko Terminal or Dex Screener?
Dex Screener.
Yeah. So if you just type in dark on Dex Screener and it shows the list, it's usually number 2 or 3 because of the volume. It's weird. Dex Screener lists by volume instead of liquidity, and I think that the other one lists by liquidity instead of volume.
Is the banner like a black and white spaceman?
Yep.
Okay. So, has it got burnt lick?
Has it got what?
You want to share it? You want to share your other screen, Tangent, instead of this one, so we can see it?
present. You. Oh.
Here, I'll take it down.
What the hell? Oh shit. Okay. That's the yeah. Sorry, that's the wrong. Whoops. That was still the trading view.
That was a total chart.
Yeah. When we were looking at that total chart. So check this. So look, man, like I've been doing a lot of gem hunting spaces on Twitter where we look for gems. And really, I mean, we're really just looking for coins in general, but we're trying to find ones that are like, you know, more likely to pump or like at least super low caps or something so that, you know, so they might pump whatever, right?
Right.
This coin, I know you said that 65% is like held by some address that is like you expect it to do nasty shit. But this has like, so this has got a $65 million market cap and only 14K in liquidity. So if I was looking for coins to buy, I know that this one's kind of like the narrative is it's meant to be like not normal. That would immediately be a problem for me. Like in terms of the ratio with I'm not looking at, so obviously I haven't looked at any burnt addresses to see if anything's burnt. I haven't looked to see like or whatever, like as in, but just on first impression, if I see this kind of ratio between the market cap and the liquidity, that's a problem for me.
Yeah, that's the biggest complaint that we've had so far is that people are looking for liquidity. We do have about 30K wrapped up in a Fux pool, but I don't think PLSX routes through the Fux pools. I could be wrong.
So one of the other things that I'll look for in terms of if I'm trying to find something that has like the potential that it's going to run, I do measure how much some people are up in the coin. So this one's not crazy high. So it's not terrible, but it's also not great. Like, and I don't even know if this is the oldest chart, but on this chart, it would imply that people at the start could be up as much as, is this log?
Yeah, that's log.
Okay, yeah. So it kind of looks like it started its life around $1. Does that sound right?
Yeah, we started at $1 and let the bots fight out a few $100s of liquidity until they got tired out. Then we raised it up to $7, which is kind of like the medium of the SAC price. SAC price was $2 to $15 depending on what bonuses you got. So we stuck it at 7, and then we announced it and pushed all of the tokens to the holders, and you can see where it kind of does a little dip trough right there.
Oh, so there was a SAC at what price did you say?
Between $2 and $15 a coin is what the SAC price ended up being.
Oh, that's quite a range. I'll just use the bottom end of it. Okay, so like people who got the cheaper end of that range are up 30x, over 30x. Correct. But people who were up at the higher end of that range, was that based on time or scale to get?
That was bonuses. So like we did the wish well, which was basically people throwing money in a wish well sacrifice, and then we did a mining phase later. And if you participated in both, you got a bigger share, a bigger bonus.
Okay. So the people that paid towards the higher end of that spectrum are actually only up like 4x and 4.5x, which is kind of starting to get towards the sort of range that I would consider like gem hunting at. If I'm looking, like obviously when I'm gem hunting, right, I don't need every single box to get ticked off, but one of my boxes is like, how far up are some people already up in this coin? I.e., can someone who only paid like $1 for a massive bag just dump all over me? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Definitely. And we gave out about 5,000 tokens for free with the airdrop and about 5,000 of the NFTs. So the NFTs are not hurting the price. They're not liquid.
Just 5,000 tokens though, not 5,000 tokens to multiple people.
Yeah, no, 5,000 total.
Total, okay.
So you can, all the red crashes are where people found their airdrop, saw the price and dumped for the most part.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
interesting
guess
to watch on a chart.
the airdrop dumping is like that's a thing that'll happen, like when people are like, so maxis will just dump. Like, remember when the Hex community got the Uniswap airdrop and most people dumped immediately for Hex?
I dumped it immediately and told everyone to, all my onboards.
Yeah. So like typically like a community that's maxi, it's bad to airdrop to maxi-ish communities because they'll just dump. Like you said, if someone sees like an eye widening that where they're like, I didn't even know I had this coin and this is worth like an amount of money that I would prefer to have in my pocket, they'll dump. Some people will just dump if they think it's like, if they're like, I don't know what this thing is. So yeah, there's several people, like several sets of people that will dump. However, you also get some people that might be like, oh, I've got this coin in my wallet and it's actually worth something. I might buy a bit more. Like that can also happen and help to offset the dumpers.
Yeah, you're basically bribing people for their attention with an
yeah,
airdrop.
Exactly. Yep. But I mean, yeah, look, overall, this chart it does appear to be in an uptrend, I guess. Like, as in, if you were to look at the overall, it's a fairly young chart, isn't it? It's only
a couple, like 15 days.
It's like, yeah, 18 days.
18. Yeah.
So yeah, hard to tell this early on. But it's the chart itself does not look terrible. Like it's literally in an uptrend.
Awesome. Yeah. And like I said, we expect to see dumps on the chart when people get paid out their lottery winnings. So there's built-in dumps and there's built-in market removal or supply removal built into this.
Is this part of an existing community already that's already on Pulse Chain, or is this like a totally new community? Or
yeah, we started with just about 100 people, 200 people in our Telegram over the last year, and so it's just like a little tiny sub community of Pulse Chain and Hex
with no other coins before it, like as in. Like,
no, this is the first coin that we've launched.
Actual project? Okay, cool.
Yeah, this first project.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, thanks for taking a look at it. And like I said, that liquidity it's probably going to bother people until we get through the first or second journey, and then they're going to notice the scarcity. When the scarcity clamps in, they're going to see that all these tokens are leaving the market and they're not coming back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I always find it interesting how things can be framed in different ways, right? So in this particular case, it being the first project of a community or unlinked directly to any other community could be framed in a positive way, where people say, this isn't just a community that's just launching 1,000 different tokens and this is just their latest one to like dilute their brand even further. But then you could also say, oh, well, this doesn't come from a community that has like a proven track record of like their coins being bangers, or that they've got like a strong network base with high net wealth individual, whatever, right? So these are things where there's always pros and cons, right? In terms of different things. But I'm a fan of having things in my portfolio that kind of cover different areas. I very fortunately recently branched out into other communities just in time for those communities to have massive runs in their coins that I would have missed if I had stayed dedicated specifically to one sub community on the chain. So yeah, yep. Be interested to see how it plays out.
Cool. I really appreciate your feedback.
I'm crushing some munchies over here. So good.
So yeah, Freddie, you don't have to tell me how many dark you have, but do you know what your rank is in the collective?
I don't know anything, man.
Correct. Yes. Freddie is 2 for 2 on OPSEC. Yes. I love it. We worked out
a feeling that's not the last time.
Shit, the weed has made me forgot what it was. Crypto 7 and I came up with a banger about OPSEC. Damn it, I'm gonna have to get him to remind me.
What, like a response or something?
It was more like a banger, like one-liner to do with OPSEC. I'll think about it. No, I'm gonna have to DM him. But to trust me, it was a banger. It was an absolute banger.
So
No comment.
You're familiar with the what's a NFTs, right? Tangent.
Yep.
They fill up with candy until you bust the pinata, and then no more candy.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They
never.
fill
Oh, yeah,
up
I
with
never.
yield until you break them.
I never busted. I haven't. I just left mine because they were. They got wrecked. They got wrecked so
Yeah.
badly. I just stopped looking at it. And then, so have they come back? Have they, like, in terms of their value?
I think they bounced a little bit. I've got a few I haven't checked on either. But I loved that idea of chicken, where people are like seeing who can hold their piggy bank the longest without going and getting the money out of the inside. So each of those NFTs that we gave away, they act in the same way. They filled up with yield until someone breaks them open. But we have a fixed supply instead of an inflated supply. Or actually, I don't know if there's inflated, but there's varies depending on what people are doing in the ecosystem with ICOSA, right?
It's another one of those things where you just, if you had big stakes or if you had any stakes, you just sit on it, wait for the next bull run to happen. It's like, I kind of stopped looking at stuff because it was just like, okay, well, we know where we're at in the cycle, and I don't know.
Well, every
Yeah,
project that you get into, it's like adopting a small animal. Like it takes X number of hours a week to take care of that little animal, and you can only have so many animals in your house before you're like, it's overwhelming, and it's a part-time job. Following, checking on your wallets, following all the projects, keeping up on their streams and stuff. So I totally understand why people are defensive of their mind space, of their head space.
That's a great point. Great analogy. Because it does take up an increasing amount of mind share. Yep.
Well,
that's one of the cool things about this bull that's coming up is like, in the last one, I only had Hex. Like I aped everything into Hex after the Godwell pump. And I was like, cool, here we go. And then wrote it up and it just outperformed everything. It was just like, but, Pulse Chain happened. The community like sectored out. Everyone went their own way. And there's a lot of stuff out there that, you have friends do, or you met this person here and they hit you like, oh, look at this. It's like, okay, cool. So you expand out into their different, projects that they're working on. And it can be overwhelming at times. So that's why I'm grateful for Hex Scout. That thing is, golly, it just keeps it all together. I don't have to think about it. Like I'll just click it open and be like, okay, cool. But, yeah, it's a lot different from the last bull market with one ticker, and
that's
this
a great
one has like 30 fucking tickers.
The other crazy thing is Rabby still does not show hex stakes. So, like Rabby and D-Bank, pardon me, Rabby and D-Bank, which is wild to me. So you have to use Hex Scout to be able to see easily what's in the wallet regarding hex stakes. Absolutely insane, really, that they still don't have it. And yeah, dude, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
Hey, I really appreciate you guys having me on and
absolutely, bro.
Staking and baking with you guys. I'm gonna go eat with Hex Ray Chick here, so I'm gonna pound off. But I will be streaming later today, and my Telegram. My DMs are always open for you guys. Awesome. I usually post the link, the StreamYard link, on Twitter and a bunch of Telegrams for the door's always open. So jump on in. It's so cool to hang out with you guys. Bro. And I look forward to IRL hangouts as the bull kicks off.
Hell yeah.
Cheers, man.
You gotta get Tangent to the United States.
Yeah.
All right, brother. We'll see you later, man. Enjoy your lunch.
right.
Have a good one.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.
You too, brother. Take it easy, dog.
We were joking about that in terms of we were joking around the other day saying these guys were saying, are we going to come to Australia or are you going to come here, sort of thing. But that does always make me laugh in terms of the crypto, like within crypto communities, the human element of still of like, what, you know what I mean? Like, as in crypto is like very digital, but then the humans still want to do like IRL meetups. It almost doesn't make sense. Like, if you look at it from a very like alien style third person perspective, third world perspective, or whatever.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like changing your paradigm, looking at it from like the corner of the room, looking down. Yeah. Oh fuck, what was I gonna say? What were we talking about? I just had a brain fart.
So we were talking about Hex and Hex Scout.
No. After that, like, just what you were just talking about?
Oh! Just now we were talking about. Wait, no! I've got this for sure. Someone in the comments, help us out.
Yeah, I was engulfed in eating Reese cups, and then I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, there's another one here.
Oh, to do with the IRL, like actual in-person meetups and the conferences and the events and stuff, like when they do I guess for the NFT guys, it kind of makes sense because it becomes like an art display. Yeah, go.
No, this was off topic. But so I have this buddy, and he won the White Marlin Open. It's like the biggest fishing tournament in the world.
Cool.
Right? And his wife is from your part of the world, and he just went there, and they're there for like 3 months, and he's going back next year, and he's going to be there for like 6 months out of the year, and they're going to do 6 months there and then 6 months here, and he's going to run a fishing charter down there. And he's like, dude, you got to come down and we'll go out fishing. So maybe in 25 or 26, I might be making it around those parts.
Sick.
And you'll have to come out and we'll do some deep sea fishing, and it'll be fucking awesome. We'll just catch huge black marlin and blue marlin and whatever the fuck else, or white marlin. Probably not blue marlin. I don't know how deep it is there, but
that's actually wild. That's wild that they're gonna try and do a split life. Like, are they gonna chase specific weather and like sort of like be here specific weather?
Yeah. Yep. So when it's like the fishing season here, it's like awesome. Like the eastern coast of the United States is one of the best places to fish for white marlin in the world. I think first place in the White Marlin Open this year took like, I don't know, $4 or $6 million, something like that. And
wait,
catching a fish. Yeah. Oh yeah. Bro, it's crazy. The White Marlin Open, it's insane. So I fished in it, and there were a bunch of hexagons. And
crypto gains. That's crypto gains.
Oh, bro.
I was told that only crypto has these gains. I was told that you can't get gains like this anywhere else. And now I'm told you can go out and catch a fish and make $6 million US. What?
Bro, it's crazy. So like there were a bunch of hexagons, and we all pitched in, and we rented the boat out, and we had a first mate and a second mate and our captain. And our captain used to play professional hockey in the NHL. That was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like almost 20 years. I want to say like 19 years or something like that. And so there's different fish that you can fish for, and then there's like different levels that you can buy into for each fish. And to like max out all the Calcuttas, it was like $75,000 for the week. And that included the boat, the first mate, second mate, and then the buy-ins for all the different fish and all the different levels. So like if we would have caught the biggest white marlin, we would have maxed out the potential payment for that. But yeah, we competed against like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan fishes in it every year. And my buddy, it's a crazy story actually. Like
Oh, so you guys were actually competing in that competition where someone...
Bro.
That's wild.
Bro, yes. So it's every year in August, and it's here on the East Coast, and everyone goes to Ocean City, Maryland, and like you literally have, I don't know, it's insane. It's crazy to be at a bar at the beach and have Michael Jordan stand next to you and walk up and order something, and it like that's how it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, dude, like that big fishing, it's a big sport. It's definitely a big sport.
Do you know what else is crazy? I think this bong is blocked.
What?
I think
do you have a torch lighter?
Great idea. I'm gonna use my phone torch. But sorry, yeah. Continue on. I'll engineer some kind of solution for us to get this thing unblocked.
Yeah, I mean these fishing tournaments are fucking legit. It was actually right when Hex was about to peak. It was August of 2021, and like Motley, Cabana, Nardo, my buddy Max, and then my wife's cousin Eric. I like hit them up and I was like, yo, let's do a deep sea fishing trip. And they were like, all right. So everyone flew in and we were in Ocean City for the weekend. And I just randomly booked this fucking guy off of this website to, go deep sea fishing or whatever. And this is like 3 weeks before, we're going to get there. But it's the week before the White Marlin Open. Well, the guy calls me and he's like, hey, yeah, I'll do this trip. When do you want to schedule it for? I scheduled it. He was like, and I told him I wanted to check with my buddies or whatever to see if they could all make it that date. But I would call him back on Monday. Just give me till Monday to see if I can, figure out if everyone would fly in, whatever, blah, blah.
Yep.
And like it checked out. So I called him back on Monday, and Monday was the first day of the tournament. Now you fish 3 out of the 5 days. So Monday through Friday.
You'd think he would have been fully. You'd think he'd be fully booked out though, like, and wouldn't be able to take. Like, he would already be. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you'd think every boat there would be booked out. Like,
oh, it is. Yeah, it is. You can't. But no. So this was for like after the White Marlin Open.
Okay.
So I was booking like an appointment for 3 weeks later, but he was fishing in the White Marlin Open like that week. But he told me, he was like, all right, well, just call me on Monday and then leave the payment information on my voicemail, and then I'll hit you back, whatever. And I was like, okay. So Monday comes and I call him, and I'm just planning on leaving like a voicemail. And he answered the phone, and I was like, bro, what are you doing? I thought you were fishing. Like, first day of the tournament, I thought you guys were out today. He was like, dude, you'll never believe what happened. We were going out. They were leaving the dock at like 4:30 in the morning, and they hit something, and it broke off one of their props. So like they had to like turn around, take the boat back. This is like a $4 million like sport fishing boat. Like they're dope boats. They're really nice. This one specifically has like, you walk in off the back deck and there's 8 lazy boys, and then there's a screen, and it's just a big huge screen with 8 lazy boys on the inside of this fishing charter. Like, it's so dope, bro. These boats are ridiculous, dog. But so they had to turn around and come back, and he was like, I'm on the way. I have to drive 3 hours to get the part to fix my boat, and then they had to drive it back, take the boat out of the water, get it fixed to get out there for the rest of the week. So I tell him, I'm like, dude, this is some shit that championship stories are made of. You get out there the very first morning, you face all this crazy ass adversity, and then boom, you do whatever it takes to fix it just to get the fuck back out there. And he was like, yeah, that sounds great, man. I hope it happens. He took down my payment information. Boom, hang up. I'm fishing with this guy in 3 weeks. I don't even think about it. This was Monday. Friday night, I'm sitting on my couch watching TV with my wife, and her cousin texted me and says, you'll never guess who just won the White Marlin Open. And I said, no way. And he sent me the picture of the guy who I had booked the charter for like a month later. He won. They brought in the last fish on the last day on Friday and won. And it was like $4.5 million or something like that for the fish, for the biggest White Marlin this year. And so the cool thing was, I called him and I told him, I was like, I told you were going to win this thing. I had only spoken to that dude like the 2 prior times my entire life. On Monday, I said he was going to win the White Marlin Open, and on Friday, he won it. And like, it was dope, dude. So then all the Hexicans fly in for this like deep sea fishing trip 3 weeks later. And this is August of 2021. 21. So it's like 2 weeks before we hit 56 cents. Well, we left and went out on the boat that morning, and he was our mate that day. And we basically just onboarded him. It was me, Motley, Nardo, like all like Rags, or not Rags, it was a Cabana. So like all these Hexicans, like OGs sitting there, like right at the top. So we onboarded this guy, and he took, you know, some of his winnings and went into Pulse with it. And he's been around ever since, dude. And it's cool because like I talk with him all the time, and you know, he's fishing, doing this and that. But the fishing here in the northeast of the United States, it's good for just a time frame of the year. And he's like, well, damn, if I can go over there to where my wife is from and we can live there for 6 months out of the year, I'll just run fishing charters down there. And he on his resume, he literally won the biggest fishing tournament in the world on his resume. So it's not a problem to book charters out. Like
that's gonna hold.
It's crazy, bro. Yeah.
If he's got that crown, 100%.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Dude, that is wild.
Yeah, but it's super cool. So I want to get down there because he sent me pictures the other day of these big ass marlin that they were catching. And I'm like, damn, that looks so dope. I don't know if you've ever done anything like that. Have you ever been deep sea fishing or like sport fishing?
I've got friends that are really, really into fishing. So I've been on fishing boats before. I don't really get that excited about it, but I can see why. Like, I can see why it could like could be enjoyable.
It's definitely a party.
It's not as often as they do it though. Like as in like I could see it being fun like maybe once every, but look, I'm a computer nerd. So like for me, that is maybe not like it's not enough. Like it's like casting a rod is not enough. But I can see the appeal if it was maybe like once every like few months.
Yeah, so like the deep sea fishing, that dude is so expensive, bro. It's like a day trip. So you can have 6 people to go on the boat, and then you have the captain and the first mate. But on commercial like fishing trips, you're not allowed to have more than 6 people. So whatever the cost is for the day to go fishing, you got to split it 6 ways. And it's expensive, dude, for gas and everything. Because once you get on the boat, you got to get there early in the morning, and then you drive like 2 to 3 hours out into the ocean. So you leave at like 4, you get there at like 7, you start fishing at 7, and then you fish until about 2, and then you take 2 hours to get back to be there at 4. And it's like $3,500 to $4,000 a day to go do this. So it's like, you know, it's something that some people won't ever do, but you know, unless you own a boat, it doesn't make sense. Like unless you get like a group of people to pitch in and go out. You might not catch shit. Or you could catch a fucking, like I've had days where we've gone out and we've caught 6 marlin. You know what I mean? And like you're just reeling in for like 5 hours straight. It's a lot of fun. Then I've gone on days where you don't catch a damn thing. And you're like, well, there goes $4,000. but it's part of the experience, right? So it's like, it's kind of like gambling, right? But it's perfect DGen shit. Because like
it actually technically is just like loot boxes. It is technically the unknown of what is actually going to be the reward, or if there's going to be a reward at all, is the part that is addictive. Yeah,
there's a lot that goes into it for sure. And so I don't know. So this guy, I don't want to dox his name or anything, but I've kept in touch with him, and like I've talked to him, and I'm like, bro, I want to get a boat. And I want a captain. So I've actually talked with him, man. If I don't know, maybe this bull will make that happen. But I'd like to get a boat because he can. If you get a boat, he's got a book of business so big he can literally do like 60 charters a year on it. Boom, boom, boom. So that would help, you know, pay for some of the upkeep and.
Oh yeah.
Like
let
that.
the boat. Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I know. Someone have it for the big tournaments, and you just use it to go fish in those big tournaments, but like charter it out the rest of the year.
I know someone that's planning to get a boat with crypto gains soon. And yeah, it's boats fun. All right, well, when you guys get boats, let me know so that I can sell everything. No, I'm just kidding. Probably not even a top signal. Probably not even close. But It's when the entire community is just flexing on everyone socially, not financially. It's the social flexing that is more of a top signal than the financial flexing, but a little bit too. But yeah, let's just get it. Oh yeah, so there's a comment here from MT Coiner. I know MT Coiner, saying that he's an absolute fishing addict and competes in the ice fishing tournaments and often places in the top 3. What the F, bro? Go hard.
That does go hard. And like so that's the crazy thing too. Like there's so many different ways to fish and type of fish. Like ice fishing is insane. And Jack and Jay Mills, they used to do a lot of ice fishing. I don't know if they still do, but my dad likes to like do freshwater and like in the rivers. So he's fishing for bass and stuff like that. I'm more of like the saltwater fishing. Like I don't really get into I've never done ice fishing. I would do it, but I like to be on a boat drinking beer and talking shit and reeling in big fish. So like it's like deep sea fishing. It's like an experience and it's a lot of fun. Like you leave the dock at like 4:30 in the morning. So it sucks that you have to wake up. But once you get on that boat, everyone just starts drinking and there's a 2-hour ride out. So everyone's sitting on the back deck in this big sport fishing yacht. You're just rolling and you're hanging out, you're eating breakfast, or you could go inside. There's like kitchens and all this shit. The sushi, the one that won the White Marlin Open that year, like I said, it's got 8 lazy boys or like 8 lounge chairs in there and then like a huge 90-inch screen. These things are nuts, dude. And then, it's just a day of drinking with the boys, really. It's a lot of fun.
I would rotate my sleep pattern because I'm used to doing it for crypto anyway. I would just rotate my sleep pattern basically into night shift so that I'd be waking up like around midnight or 1 a.m., have ample time to get ready and be rocking up to the boat like as if I'm going in the afternoon when it would be basically in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just wouldn't be able to do it. Like,
do you get seasick? Like, can you handle a boat?
No, I don't.
Sea legs?
I think I've only ever been seasick once in my entire life, and I didn't even I wasn't actually physically ill. I just felt like I was going to be ill. Do you know what? I find it's like the slow rocking is the worst. So if you got like high speed boats that have like a high frequency chop, or like boats that are so stable that they don't move at all. But when you get like that slow roll bullshit, eventually your stomach just says, nah, buddy.
Yeah. You ever take Dramamine? Like the motion sickness pill?
No. Nah, I haven't tried it.
I take one. I've never gotten seasick, but I take one just in case.
Okay. So it just like maybe turns off the thing that normal.
It's something in your inner ear. It's like your inner ear.
Remember that. I do remember hearing that it's an ear thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they have these things too. Actually, Jordan, he just got a new boat, but he put one on his old boat. And I forget the price he paid for it. He got a really good one though. He's got a big boat. Those gyro things are really cool. I wonder how those things work.
I'm trying to find an alternate smoking device now because.
Is it toast?
It's still blocked, even though I thought I'd done everything to unblock it. It's like I'm maybe being slack, and also I don't have like a proper pin like Stoker bar thing up here. But have I ever showed you this? It's like a dinosaur part.
That's pretty cool.
So it's like basically just like a little pipe, and you can fill it up with like a tiny bit of water. It doesn't really work, by the way. You just end up drinking it, but like not literally. But it's like it's splashing up in your face. It's splashing up in your mouth. It basically has to be done like a pipe.
I'm so jealous.
Welcome
So
back.
jealous.
You're usually good. You're usually good. I don't want to dox your location, but usually you're somewhere where that's doable.
Me or
yeah, you're not in a part of the world that you
No,
can partake in.
I'm in Korea. I'm in Korea right now.
Oh, okay. Were you Were you there for like martial law?
It's so fun. I had to do a visa run, so I actually went to Thailand the day before. So I was smoking tons of weed in Thailand, bro. It's legal there. So I was in Thailand for like 3 days last week, and then I came back here. So yeah, no, I was gone when martial law was declared, and then but it was finished, by the next day. But they're still kind of going over it. I actually saw a protest yesterday. I was at Starbucks getting my coffee, you know what I'm saying? And I saw there was a protest out front of the Starbucks. There's like maybe 200 people, 300 people. They're going to impeach him probably. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to impeach him almost definitely. The Korean people are big into democracy. You know what I'm saying? They want to get rid of that guy. And the story is, as far as I hear it, is that there was people in his cabinet who, I'm trying to put the pieces together. There's people in his cabinet who are it's very similar to America, where the left is very democratic and they're very like woke. They're pushing this nonsense agenda. They're pro-communist or socialist, right? And the right, he's a right guy. He's a right guy. And so he's saying that his people around him are all left and pro North Korea, pro China. And so he declared martial law as a way of like saying, hey, we have to get rid of these leftists, really, these guys supporting North Korea and supporting China. And then he like had the police come in and try to block the Congress building so the senators couldn't get into Congress. So the congressmen were like jumping the fences to go in there and go vote.
What the hell?
To remove martial law. Yeah, it was crazy. So it was like really like a big event, right? And so anyway, they got in there and they voted and they decided to remove martial law almost like 6 hours later. And then now it's been all the blowback that he's getting is because of that. So he's getting a ton of blowback, and it's been like this week.
So is he out
this week? Not yet, but they're voting. They're voting to get him out. I think maybe by next week he might be out. I think the general consensus is he's going to be gone.
It'll happen that quickly, huh?
The Korean people move fast and they don't mess around. Do you know what I mean? Like they're real. Like
that's good.
Yeah. I think the last 4 presidents, 3 of them have gotten left early.
Really? No kidding.
Yeah. Like the one.
They're like, no, we don't like you. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, the one not this, the one right before this, but the one before that, it was a female president, and there was a boat that sunk off the coast of Korea, and there was a whole bunch of children in it, and they all died. It was like 200 children, 300. It was a very traumatic event, very very sad event, and apparently she went and got her hair she went to get her hair done when the news broke, and she got impeached because of that. Because she wasn't there immediately after, and she was getting her hair done. They impeached her.
Damn.
Because they don't mess around in Korea, dude. They're really strict. If the people don't agree, they'll fight back. Because they were an authoritarian government. Right after the North and South, when Eisenhower came over, and there's that. They're still at war technically. So they were authoritarians for almost 20 years, 60s through the 80s. And then the 80s moving forward, they've been more democratic in capitalism. So yeah, I mean, they love democracy. They really like to share their opinions, and they're very community oriented. So yeah, it's interesting. People are shouting, they're protesting on the streets. There's really a lot of people.
Wait, this little part might look cool, but it's poorly designed from an engineering standpoint. It's like you nearly burn your face, bro. You nearly burn your face. Like if you don't add enough water, you might as well just be smoking it dry. And if you add a tiny little bit more than that, you're drinking the bong water. It's just, and you're burning your face the entire time. It's horrendous, bro.
The dinosaur.
Whatever it is. Just this
bubbler.
This little pipe thing. It's got a shoddy as well on the back. It's not ideal, bro. Not ideal.
I've been doing what I do a lot of like just I got the European style, man. Fucking tobacco and weed together.
Oh yeah.
I got caught up in that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got a bag of that here. This chick fucking mixed up my weed with tobacco, like a lot of it, and now I'm like, oh man, like she should have just
do a bong hit with that.
She should have just literally taken it with her because I don't do that shit. I don't know. Did you hear this thing about how people were saying either in, I think, Europeans. Yeah, it was Rogan. Yo, Rogan had someone on his show and they were shitting on Europeans for mixing their weed with tobacco, saying that it's basically for brokies who are trying to make it seem like their weed is lasting longer by like, so over here we call it spin, where you put tobacco in your weed. And most of my friends do it not because they're broke, even though they are broke. No, I'm just kidding. Most of my friends do it because they like the head spins, like they're vapors and smokers, so they like the nicotine hit. So I don't think they're doing it to be broke, but I have actually heard a couple of them say that their weed like lasts longer. I don't think they mean it from a monetary point of view. They're not trying to get it to last longer so that they spend less money. I think they're saying they're trying to get it to last longer so that they're not like, holy shit, I just did a pound of weed in like less than a month. Or you know what I mean? Like just slows more in terms of it slows them down, not from a money point of view, not the cost of it. So, yeah, whatever the reason, then I guess you just got to choose whether you spin or not. But boy, it is a divisive topic because when I'm at a party, at the people who do not like, if we're all want to get high, and someone's like, "Hey, yo, does anyone mind if I spin this?" And then everyone loses them, or half the people lose their freaking mind, dude.
It's good, yeah, it's true. So I grew up, in America. In the U.S., we smoke blunts. If you want tobacco, you roll up a blunt. Then you get the tobacco leaf with the weed. But other than that, you smoke a bubbler or joint or whatever. But then I lived in Europe for a while. Right? I lived in Europe for like 2 years, Netherlands and all over Europe. And then wherever you go around, interesting. Wherever you go around, there's all coffee shops in Netherlands, for example, and they all sell mixed. It's cheaper, first of all. And then the thing is that the big thing is if you're rolling a joint, you're smoking a joint, it burns properly. That's the key. Is if you do just weed, you got to really make sure there's enough air in there. You don't pack it too tight, right? It's not too condensed. Then the joint goes out over and over and over again. Oh, the joint's out. Where's a lighter? You go through all that nonsense, right? But you put like 10%, 15% tobacco in there, then, oh, wow, it burns smoothly the entire time. That's the key, I think. Put a little bit of tobacco in and you get a smooth burn. So I got in the habit of doing that. And then once you get in the habit of doing that, then you got a problem. Because then you don't want to go back to just weed.
Oh, yeah. I have heard some of my friends say that it's smoother. Like it's not as harsh. But I'm just like, grow up. So I just realized I realized I could have just started debugging, like power of deduction on where the blockage is by putting this cone piece into this bong. I know it looks stupid. Wait, guys, I know it looks stupid because these are nearly pulse chain colors and these are nearly hex colors. So wait, no, is that awesome or stupid? It doesn't. Something about it doesn't look right. Something about it doesn't look right in terms of the coloring.
You're overthinking it, dude.
We're here to get high, not I worry about the color of Richard's.
It looks perfect. It looks perfect.
What about edibles?
It matches my hat and my hoodie.
I fucking love edibles, but I just don't have.
We did an edible stream one time, I think. Did we ever do the edible stream? I feel like we did.
I can't remember if we did. No, we did, but we had always planned that we would do it planned. So, you take the edibles first, like we take them and then we stream once we're high. But I think one time we were just on air and you might have just been like, fuck it, I'm going to eat one right now, even though it probably won't hit me till after we finished.
So I think I remember that.
The best is the vaping, like the fucking volcano. How about the volcano? You try that shit?
I got a vape. I've got a vape. Yeah, this one's.
Oh, that's the PAX. Is that the PAX?
The Rush. Dude, it's the Rush.
The Rush.
It looks like the PAX.
Oh,
it's
those are great, man.
This one doesn't connect to your phone with the fancy Bluetooth shit, but it's got a screen on it, so I find that better. The ones where it's got the app on the phone, right? It sounds like it's really handy, but if I'm out, I don't want to have to like get my phone out to like calibrate my shit. Like, even though
I never heard.
I just prefer to just see everything on the screen. You know what temperature it's at. You're like, boop, 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 done. See.
Tin Top is 100% right. Yeah, blunts are great, man. The
blunts are the best. The Greenleaf games. Woo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of the Greenleaf game. The green games.
The Greenleaf games. Wait, why do we not have more? Do you remember there used to be like weed coins? There used to be a bunch of weed coins.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're still drink.
How come there's no weed coins anymore? Like, that's technically a meme coin. Like, what's going on?
What if we made a meme coin of weed coin?
It's a popular meta. Like, are we on a cook? No, I'm just kidding. No, but like, I that does surprise me actually that there's not as many or on any chain really. This is not just Pulse chain. I don't really see weed coins in the meta very much.
Pot coin.
Yeah, there was pot coin. There was 420 coin. There was like, I think there was weed coin. Some of them got very unimaginative. They used to all pump on April 20, like on 420, it would pump. Like they would all pump. And
Fucking weed NFTs.
Are NFTs even still around?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really?
Bro, but so check it. So there's NFTs that are just like people have developed NFTs to work with the hex code. So instead of staking up your hex, you can do it as an NFT, and then it's a 5555 stake if that's how long you stake it for. But you can sell the NFT, which gives the person the access to that stake. So there's like you can actually have a market for 5555 stakes.
So you almost need to think of NFTs like two separate. There's like the art, like picture NFT, like the useless NFT, and I mean that in the literal sense that it does not have a use. And then there's the ones where they're like it can actually do shit, which is also bearish because that's utility. So one of them is bearish because it does nothing, and the other one's bearish because utility is bearish. No, I'm just that both of those are jokes, by the way, half true, half jokes.
Is that what you look for when deciding whether to ape into a shitcoin?
I am. Wait, I'm
actual utility. If it has actual utility, not a chance.
Yeah. If it's got utility, I'm out. If it's got utility, I am out, bro. Out. Don't want to know about it. Yo, that's something that
this
we need.
This is financial advice.
Wait, that's something. That's my only for myself. Wait, I've been calling. I'm one of very few people to call that there will be an NFT sector to this bull market. So that I believe that at some point NFTs are going to have a revitalization and a resurgence, and very few people believe me. Like most people.
I agree with you.
Because it's just like it's cyclical, right? Like as in eventually people just make so much money on it's just the same reasons it happened last time are probably going to be the same reason it comes about. People just can't see it.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if that does happen. I was thinking about this the other day.
I have a different perspective though. I think that it's because of cryptography, right? And the necessity or the necessary idea of verifying things, right? As AI becomes more popular and as deepfakes become more popular, you're going to need a way to verify this is a legitimate thing from that person or from that. And NFTs might be the answer to that, right? Of like something on the blockchain through an NFT, like what you're talking about, it might be able to give it authenticity. Say, hey, we know this one is the real one, where all these other deepfakes are not the real one. We're gonna need some way to determine what's real and what's fake, because the deepfakes are getting good. I mean, they're almost good enough to where you can't tell, almost. But 5 years from now, you won't even know. You won't know, is this an AI created video or is this a real video? There won't be any way to tell other than the cryptography associated with it. And that's when NFTs become popular, I think, because then you have a way of authenticating, oh, this is a real thing and this is a fake one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can use a crypto to solve that problem though. in terms of
Yeah.
the ability to know whether something was AI created, because it's not like you can verify each aspect of the realness onto the blockchain or each part of its production. It's almost like so if it was a blockchain creation, I maybe see where you're going with this. If it was a blockchain creation from its inception,
right,
then
exactly. Yes.
You wouldn't be able to use it to verify existing videos or ones that are out in the wild, but anything that was created on that platform or chain to start with would be maybe verifiable. That's interesting.
And you would know whose chain it was. If it's my chain, then you know, oh, this is his real stuff, right? Or if it's somebody else's chain, you know it's their real stuff. Where if it's just in the ether, if it's just out on the internet, there's no way to verify it. Okay, whose is it? Right? But if I'm going to say, hey, this is my stamp, you know.
I like it. I like it for, say, like a person to be able to like have that digital signature or whatever to prove that people need, they say to their audience, look for this digital signature. If it doesn't have it, it's not from me, it's fake, it's AI.
Right.
However, there's another set of videos where it's like the person creating it does not want people to know it's legit. Right. So like all the leaked stuff and all of that sort of stuff. So then in that case, the creator, which is the person getting busted, would not have been like, let's make this video on a blockchain that proves that it's real. You'd almost want to do the opposite, right? Like as in, so, but so I can see a partial use case. I can see a partial use case. Yep.
Yeah. So I think we're going to need some way. I mean, other than that, other than using NFTs or other than using the blockchain, how would you verify authenticity? Right? We can do it now because, hey, this is not a real video, or or that organization could announce, hey, we did this or whatever. But 10 years from now, 5 years from now, there'll be no way to know like what's real, what's fake. I mean, it's so close right now. It's so close. So I don't know. I think this is going to have a resurgence of this market for NFTs. I think it's related, right? It's having some sort of multimedia associated with the blockchain, right? Rather than, I mean, this is kind of my take on it. I think they were just too early. NFTs were too early, originally. The first kind of bull market, I guess, the first opening up of them. And then they fell flat. And then maybe 5 years later, we go, oh, wait. NFTs, we're gonna use those. I think that's gonna happen. I really think so.
Do you know, a scary thought is that it is actually possible that we're already there and that we don't know it because that technology is already being used against us. Like, i.e., spectrum that goes all the way to the Matrix, and then you realize that you're already there.
100%.
This is weed talk.
There's so much that we don't know about.
This is the weed talk. Do you know what I tell myself when I go down like scary thought paths like that? I say, do I really care? Like, am I going to let that F up my day? That whether this is real or not, I'm just going to enjoy my day. So yeah, that's all you can do, right? And then you're winning regardless. Like, you're just going to have a fun day, like not worrying about whether reality is real.
Well, there's a lot of questions. You got to define everything. What is reality? What is real? What is myself even? You know what I'm saying? You got to define. If you really want to have a head trip, try and define those terms, right? What is reality to be real? What does it mean to be real? What is myself existing in that reality, right? I mean, you could go on 1,000 different tangents with that sort of ideology, right? I mean, I like your initial point was, do I care? I use that when I'm stuck in an Instagram hole, right? If I'm scrolling, oh, wait, do I care about this?
Yeah.
And then I don't care about a chihuahua doing a backflip. Okay, let me turn my phone down. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that really helps me personally, that question of do I care? Because if you don't care, then why are you giving your attention to it? You know what I mean?
It's crazy how attention grabbing they have been able to make that, because I used to look at people who were using their phones nearly all the time and think, and this will sound like a boomer take, but I used to think like, how could you possibly just be on your phone literally the entire time, right? But with those scrolling video things like YouTube Shorts, and they even do it on Twitter now, where if you start one video, it just goes to the next one. I get it. Like it's on. Like it's just you can doom scroll that thing forever.
Forever. Until your brain turns to mush.
And because you can just literally with the flick of a finger reject any that are not like absolutely amazing to you, your whole time is watching literally amazing content. Like it is. I know I'm selling it, but it really is that good.
It's good for learning too. If you want to learn something new, if you watch shorts about it constantly, then you can get little snippets of data. I'm actually pro shorts. I'm not anti because of that value.
I've seen some stuff that actually broke my world. Like I've seen shorts that actually changed my perspective on things where like spiritually I was just like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. One's about like communications between males and females and stuff like that. There's some chick that's on there that talks about like, and it's just like, you're just like, wow, I'm really glad I know that. And so that in those moments, right, you're like, even if I sat here for a whole day scrolling these things, use up my one whole day watching these things. If I find one thing like that just totally just breaks my world, then it makes it worth it, right? Like
it's like a jackpot. It's like a lottery. That's the whole. It's like a slot machine, right? That's the whole premise by which they're created. It's like
even that's a loot box as well. So the fishing trips. Sorry, Freddie's that way. Fishing trips are a loot box.
No.
Doom scrolling is a loot box. Crypto's a loot box. Everything's a loot box.
Oh, we're getting deep now. Our
dopamine system is actually designed for loot boxes. Our whole life is just a string of loot boxes.
Well, you can consider anything up and down as a loot box. I mean, by that definition, right? Because there's a peak, there's a valley. So then there has to be a circular. You know what I'm saying? If there's then anything has a peak and a valley is also a circle, because you're going through the same things over and over again. So yeah, I mean, it's a slot machine. There was a podcast, a Joe Rogan podcast, where they're talking about, I don't remember who it was, but whoever invented the Instagram. I guess it was before Zuckerberg bought it, I guess, but prior to that, they were saying they use inspiration from Vegas. That's how they created the idea, was a slot machine, right? Because you could, there's like certain parameters by which a slot machine operates, right? You could win, you could break even, or you could lose, right? So there's some multiple things that can happen, and there's all these potentialities. There's like 3 or 4 like different rules. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, but they use these certain principles and applied them to social media, and that's it works, obviously.
Big time.
Yeah, but
I just got caught down one in y'all's last conversation. I was like, It was a Jay-Z post. I just reposted it.
Freddie's literally accidentally demonstrating exactly what we're talking about in real time.
Literally.
For the audience.
But look at the value. Then he brings it up, Jay-Z, and then we're like, oh shit, I haven't thought about Jay-Z, and like, oh wait, yeah, I just saw a reel about Jay-Z too, whatever. And then it opens up a whole new world. So I think there's real value in it. You know what I mean? I'm not anti. Yeah, and right. So you think he's involved? So check it out. His haircut is Basquiat, right? Jay-Z. This hairstyle he has is based on Basquiat, which was a painter, which was a gay painter. And he's like envisioning in his house. He has a whole bunch of Basquiat paintings. He raps about Basquiat. So, what do you think about? That's my intro to Jay-Z. What do you think about Jay-Z with that in mind?
So he's shilling his bags. Oh, his bag bias. Yeah. He's got that haircut to raise awareness about the art that he owns a lot of. He's shilling his bags.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. But it's Basquiat. That's the artist's name. Basquiat. I think it's a French guy. But it's like he was like a communist gay artist. I think. I mean, fact check me for sure. But I'm saying, but either way, I mean, he's probably a Diddy supporter. Right?
Do you know that people that hold art collections will set up like institutions and charitable funds to teach people about the arts, including big donations to universities and shit like that, and even donate art, right? They are doing a version of what people in crypto do where they shill their own bags. They can get adoption for the demand of that art by basically bribing their way into showing that art as being the pinnacle of art. Does that make sense to everyone, including the audience? That they're effectively doing the same scam that people do in crypto, but people just don't realize, and they think it's fancy because it's art. But they are effectively creating generational and multi-generational demand for the art that their family owns.
If you want to go even crazier, that all that is true. If you want to take it to the next level, they're using their art as collateral, is what they're doing, right? They're buying this piece of artwork and they're saying, hey, this banana is worth $6 million, whatever, right? So now I put that banana in a trust. My trust has $6 million worth of collateral, so I'm going to get loans against that collateral, right? So now so it's a game. That one guy sold the empty space for $1 million, whatever it was, 2 years ago, 4 years, right? It was empty space, and it was just the name, the placard that said, "This is nothing painting" or whatever, and then he sold for $1 million. It's not literally nothing physical.
Wait, that guy's taking the piss, and I love it. Like, as in that is amazing.
But think about it now on paper. Now on paper, there's a sale of a painting that's nothing, and in a trust, there's now $1 million worth of collateral because there was a deed. There's a sale of an item, so you can leverage that paper for money. You could securitize that paper. I mean, the game is crazy at the high level.
I wonder how the insurance claims would go down, right? Imagine you say to the insurance company, "Yo, my art's been stolen," and they come over and they're like, "No, it hasn't. It's still there. It's empty space."
They probably wouldn't insure it, right, to begin with.
They absolutely would not. They would absolutely not insure it.
How would you underwrite the emptiness? How would you underwrite that? What would be the qualifications?
Yeah, so
I guess, but you could. I mean, you know what? No, I take that back. Because there was something called a personal articles floaters, a PAF policy, where you could insure personal property, and you could potentially just get liability insurance, and you could determine whatever that is.
So these scammers are even worse than crypto, because in crypto, like, sure, people print the coins out of thin air, right? Like, people just literally click a button and create the coins. But here, they're also just creating value out of nothing just by lying about it. Like, it's just a narrative. They say, this painting has the provenance of this artist, and it's one of only like one blah, whatever. So fake, falsified narrative rarity, narrative provenance, narrative everything, just like crypto, and then claim that it has some value. So we just need crypto to get to the point where you can actually use it as collateral, and then we're just on the same gravy train as these dumb fucks.
You still can. Why can't you? I mean, there's tons of ways to use.
You need somewhere to accept it as collateral. P-Die bros are going to be in the audience losing their minds right now. But like,
well, I mean, there are places where you can get LTV is like 50%. So there's places where you can put it in and get 50%.
Sorry. To be clear, it has to be one that I can print out of thin air. Like, it can't be someone else's crypto, because then I have to pay for it.
So you're not saying like staking it.
For the scam to be at the level of what the art industry does in real life, the collateral acceptance has to be just like any shitcoin that anyone can print out of thin air. Maybe we should make that platform. Maybe we should make that platform.
What's that?
He's talking about making a coin that can be used as collateral, like a painting, for example. But it has to have some sort of. It's all about the contract. This is what I've been learning recently. I don't know if you want to talk about this topic, Fred, or not. But with the UCC and making contracts, You know what I'm saying? When you make a contract, it's on paper, right? So that paper is what determines the value. So you have let's say we have a promissory note or a bill of exchange or something like that, which says, hey, I gave you $1 million for this item. Now that item doesn't matter because the item is just real property, but you don't even need real property. But you can say, hey, I sold this thing. It's on paper. That contract has value. At this point, you don't even care about the actual item because the paper has value. You know what I'm saying? So this is the real game, I think, with these paintings, is that no one cares about the painting anymore. It matters is the contract, because you can use that contract and sell off that contract, right? You can say, hey, it's called a promissory note. You're securitizing it, really. So you're saying, hey, I have this promise to pay, or I have this loan agreement for $1 million, and I'll sell you the agreement for $950,000, right? Then they buy. There's like so many ways of taking one asset and then turning it into 5 or 6 different things, which are not even related to the asset itself, just the paper part.
Yep.
It's really interesting because in America we have the UCC, which is a Uniform Commercial Code, which determines, the rules of that game, right? So what is considered a payment? What is considered a promise to pay, a conditional, all these different definitions. There's like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and you can kind of use the rules of the game to your benefit. Does that make sense? Or does it matter the asset 100%. Has value or not? It's all about how you use the instruments. So, it's really crazy because you realize that the banking system. I'll get into a little bit about this because I've been reading it recently. The banking system is just based on full faith and credit, right? So, for example, prior to 1930, it was the gold standard. So all money was backed by gold. But then what happened was America, and apparently pretty much every nation on the planet, has gone bankrupt at some point. And when they go bankrupt, they go to the bankers and say, hey, we want more loans. We have to renegotiate our loan. And the bankers say, okay, we'll renegotiate your loan, but you got to put up some collateral. They go, okay, what collateral do we have? Oh, well, we have our people. We're not going to use gold anymore. We're going to use our people. So we're going to leverage our people as collateral and give away some of our people's assets or earning potential in order to get more money to bail out the country. And so this happened in 1933 in America specifically. And so they said, it's like a HGR 192. It's a referendum. You can look it up. And it says directly, we're going to mortgage the people of the country, right? So Americans' people were mortgaged in order to pay off the bankers. And so now there's no standard, there's no real asset backing the currency. It's just, quote unquote, the full faith and credit. That's the main thing. And that who backs that full faith and credit? The American people. With this logic, the people become the creditor because we, as the people, are offering the credit to the government. We gave ourselves as collateral without agreeing, without the terms of agreement. They did it without our agreement. We acquiesced. Yeah. And so then we're able to access the credit of the entire government because we are now the creditors. So this is the process that Fred and I have been kind of diving into recently, is becoming the secured party or becoming the creditor rather than becoming the debtor. And when you change that perspective and you become the creditor, you can actually issue new money. You can issue money and the Federal Reserve makes the payment for you.
It's like the real life version of Be Your Own Bank. Essentially.
Whoa.
It takes crypto and transfers that into the real world. You basically play their game. So what happens is they created this like shell outside, and by default, the way that law is written, if you don't oppose it, then that's the way that it is until you stand up and say, no, this is not correct, right? So you're giving them the permission to do it literally from the time that you're born with your social security number and your birth certificate in the United States. And it's not until you stand up and say, no, I want to be on my own in the private and not be part of the public under this specific jurisdiction, then you by default you're abiding by their rules, and then the credit comes through with your social, and it's definitely a rabbit hole to go down. But you get different trusts set up through the IRS, and there's a way to become a secured party creditor on your own, be your own bank, and interact with the bank and the treasury, and you can interact through all of them.
I'm slightly familiar with the things that you guys are talking about because I follow a lot of anarchists, and some of them talk about this like thing that you can do. I think one of them was saying that the biggest downside to it is that you have to be aware of exactly the all the implications that come with it of actually truly being outside of the system. So he said it is possible and difficult. So it's difficult to achieve, like it's difficult to do it. And then once you've done it, then you truly are outside of the system. So it's like their laws don't apply to you, but then you also can't then. There was some other thing that he was explaining. Anyway, I'll butcher it if I try to.
It's essentially essentially you're just not giving them or entering into their jurisdiction by giving them consent to be over you, and they get you every single way that they possibly can. When you fill out a document at the DMV, the Division of Motor Vehicles, like to get your driver's license, they ask you, "Are you a resident of the United States or are you a citizen?" And when you say yes, you're opting into their system of citizenship, is what it comes down to.
Right.
So there's a way to be a citizen of the state that you're in and not be a citizen of the federal corporation or the federal government of the United States. And I actually
100% correct.
Like you go through the process and you file the paperwork. Yeah, and it starts it with your birth certificate. Like you have to get your certificate of live birth, which is separate from your birth certificate that you're issued at birth. You get that certificate of live birth, and then you have it authenticated by the local government, the state government, and then the federal government. And once you go through that process, you then apply for the passport as a national instead of a citizen. And you're just removing yourself from that jurisdiction. So, like, it's taken me 2 years to get to the point where I'm at, and I'm not even like anywhere,
So the guy. So I left. So I just left the call briefly for like 45 minutes, right? That's because I had a preset meeting with a guy who's doing this. So the guy that I've been talking to you about, Fred, who's actually doing it. I got a one-on-one consult with him, and that's what I just did.
Paul Michael or whatever.
Yes. So I just had a call with him personally, just for 45 minutes, just when I left, and he's in the private. He's doing it, and so he told me his entire. He's literally doing it, literally. So he just discharges everything with his stamp, with his banker stamp, because he has a banking relationship. He utilizes promissory notes, and these notes get paid directly through the treasury through his Decadent account or through his EIN or through his social security number. So they actually, but instead of going directly, because most people, what they do is they go directly through the IRS. This is what they try to do. So what happens is you get a bill and you endorse it. Without recourse, paid to the order of blah, 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 right? Paid to the order of the United States Treasury. And then that would get deposited to the Treasury. And then you go to the Treasury and use a 1099 OID and get a discount, a refund on that overpayment because you paid out the Treasury from that bill with your banker's endorsement. But what he does, but people get mixed results with that because sometimes the Treasury doesn't pay out or sometimes the IRS isn't willing to do the refund. Maybe the people don't know. Whatever. It's a mixed bag. Some people get big checks. Some people get no checks. Some people get big tax burdens. It's mixed. But what he does is he forms a banking relationship with a bank as a private banker. So he goes to the bank and says, hey, I'm going to be using those negotiable instruments in the private. What instruments do you accept? And they say, oh, we accept promissory notes. We accept certified checks, whatever. And then the bank goes and does that part for you, and you've already gotten approval with the bank. So, for example, you might use Fidelity, Charles Schwab.
It's a layer of protection.
Well, they're doing the process for you, right? Literally, and you already have their approval. So you're not like, will it work? Will it not work? You're already on their good side, and they're going to the Treasury, they're settling the note, and they're paying you out. So this is his process. It's the only person through all my research that I know for sure is getting consistent results. Like he's doing it and been doing it consistently. He's a newer in the industry. He's the first guy who thought, hey, let me actually, before I just submit documents, let me go to the bank and ask them to do it first. No one's thought of that. Everyone tries to sneak by. Like, hey, let me try to push this in, see if it works. But he's like, no, let me actually go to the bank, form the relationship in the private, tell them what I'm doing, make sure what they will accept and won't accept, forget their rules. A lot of the banks make him sign an NDA because they don't want people to know about it. Then he just submits the documents and they process it for him. And he discharges everything with a stamp. He just signs it without recourse. So he doesn't pay any bills, ever.
It's the infinite money list. So when he gets a bill, what's the process? He takes his stamp that he got and works and uses that as a negotiable instrument, and then the bank accepts it.
Yeah,
and
he turns it into a promissory. Yeah. He turns it into a negotiable instrument with his banker. So it's without recourse, paid to the order of the United States Treasury, or maybe paid to the order of the bank he's working with. And the bank takes that instrument, they cash it, they go to the window, they cash it with the Treasury, they get the money back, and they deposit the money wherever he wants. And he can move the money from the private to the public.
Oh, so the bills are still getting paid? Like,
yeah, they're getting paid through the Treasury.
The bills get paid
through the Treasury. So you go to the bank goes to the Treasury comes back, boom, gives the money to the bank deposits it into your account, and then that's what it's paid with.
Right. Well, they double pay. I think it's actually a triple pay. I think you get your deposit back, the bank gets their commission, and the Treasury earns money too for processing it. I think that they're using fractional banking in some way. So they're getting much more benefit than your actual bill. Because the bill, when it's turned into negotiable, here's the premise. When you have a bill, you think about a bill as a bill. But a bill is a bill of exchange. It's short form for a term. Bill is not just a bill. It's a bill of exchange. There has to be a consideration, an equal exchange, right? And so you think you're paying with money, but you're paying with Federal Reserve notes. And Federal Reserve notes are also a negotiable instrument. It's not really money, because there's nothing backing it. It's credit. It's based on the full faith and credit of the government, right? So you're using right? So you're using one negotiable instrument to pay another negotiable instrument. It's all fake. There's no real money. There is no money, right? So they're just issuing. So they're taking your endorsement and they're accessing your Social Security account, the estate. They're accessing your Social Security number account, and they're creating money. You're actually issuing the money with your signature, and then they're creating that money. And I think they're probably creating it 4 times or 3 times. They're taking a commission. The bank's taking a commission. The IRS is creating more money out of thin air. I don't think it's 1 for 1. We think like, oh, this person gets 1, this person gets 1. I think they literally just multiply it by 3 or 4 and just pay off everyone, consider everything settled, and then everyone's happy, So that part is a little bit hazy, but the general principle is that.
So you're 3 months from remedy.
Well, I just spoke with him. So he's going to set me up with merchant processing in the private. So that's a big thing. And then also the SPC process is what I have to do next. And it could take 3 months because you have to mail in the document and you're not in the private. That's okay. So you have to become the secured party over the straw man. So the ens legis, right? The straw man, that is your all caps name, right? So that is the dead man, so to speak. So what you do is you create an estate EIN. So typically an estate would be like for someone going into probate. Someone died, you do the estate.
Is that different from what was done like when setting up the 3 or 4 different EINs? Is that part of that?
That's one of them. That's the second EIN. The second EIN is the estate EIN, right? Mm-hmm. So that becomes your routing number, I think.
But it takes months for the trust or paperwork to be completed.
Well, you have to mail it in, and you're not in the private until they accept your certified mail. So they have to receive the mail, and you get the green slip back, right? So you mail something certified, and you get the confirmation slip that it was received. Some people are saying it takes 3 months just to receive that slip. Once you receive the slip back, you're in the private. You're good to go. But you have to receive that slip back to know that they've actually confirmed they've received it. And then once they confirm they've received it, then you're good to go with the
What
process.
document is that? Like, what document do you send them? Is it just in?
Oh, dude, it's a packet. It's a whole packet. It's 80 pages. And you send it to like 4 or 5 different people. It's called, what you're actually doing within the document is you're becoming the secured party. So you're saying, I mean, we can go deep if you want. So what you're doing is the logic they use is that you are abandoned at sea. That's the logic they use, right? They say, dude, the banker is so corrupt. If you want to go down this road, it's so insanely corrupt. It's unimaginable. What they in 1510 or 1666, King something of England created this. People went away to war, and they died at war, and they needed a way to deal with their assets. So their house was gone, or their assets are, they're dead. So who can claim their assets? So Tin Top is all versed on this stuff. He knows something. Yeah, money not going to the account. If the bill, local water bill, repo window. There you go. Yeah. Well, okay. Let's keep going with my story for now. So so they said you died at war. Your assets are abandoned. The government, the state, has to reclaim those assets, right? So what we need a process to reclaim those assets. So they passed the CECI-KV. It's a French name for a trust. So if someone is gone for 7 years and they don't claim their assets, then we can claim them. The government can claim them because they're just open for anyone. We have to take care of these assets. So that's what they use. That's logic. So if you were dead or gone, your assets are abandoned and you're considered abandoned or gone at sea, right? Whoa, something was crazy. Someone just smoked something. So you're abandoned at sea. Okay. So if you're abandoned, then the government can come in and claim your assets. They use the same logic when they register your birth certificate. So there was a trust created in your name when they registered your all caps name on your birth certificate. There's 2 dates: the date you were born and the date the trust was established. So when that trust was established, you never claimed it. So because you never claimed it, you're lost at sea. So they wait 7 years, then they can claim those assets that were created when you were born in that trust, right? So what you do is you become the secured party over those assets. You say, hey, I'm not lost at sea. I am the secured party. Those assets belong to me. And you have to submit documents to the Secretary of State. There's like 4 or 5 different places you submit this packet saying that I am not lost at sea. I am a living, breathing person. I am the principal on this CECI-KV trust. I am the principal. I'm not the debtor. I am the creditor. I'm the principal party. So any assets that belong to the all caps name, I am now in full control of them. So because I'm in full control of them, I can access through my social, I can access the full faith and credit of the U.S. government, which is the Treasury. So this is kind of how this originated. Yeah, exactly.
Which makes sense where he says here, it doesn't go to your account. You just hand the bill, the water bill, to the repo window, and the Treasury pays the creditor, the water company.
Yes. Yeah, well, they pay multiple people.
You give them the bill, and then bloop, they send it out.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
so when you go through the bank is taking the bill to the Treasury to make it happen for you?
Right.
Is that what you're saying? That's what he does?
Yes, exactly.
So the bank's doing all the legwork for you. You're just working through the bank as a secured party creditor. Okay.
Right, exactly. So yes, correct. And then
you
file a lien. Go ahead.
I've heard about this before, but I guarantee you there'll be people watching that would be thinking, this is not possible. Like, this is insane. Like, if this were true, then everyone would be doing it. Like, those sorts of thoughts are going through people's minds. So, like,
sure.
Why don't you guys also mention how is it possible that something that just sounds so like good is not like more known, like is not more known about, and more people aren't taking advantage of that, like, loophole or whatever?
That's a really good question, dude. Like, if you look at it, from the time you are born, so this has been going on for hundreds of years.
But yeah, right? Multi-generation,
like thousands.
Yeah, the banks. Yeah. So like it's programmed into us, and the banks have everything set up to the point where we just feel like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We don't question it or think about it. We're born at a hospital. We sign our documents. We get our birth certificate, and we get assigned a social security number, and we just go with the flow because that's how it's supposed to be. And they're not going to freely release the information and say, hey, look, we're going to give you the power. No, we relinquish all of our power to the government. Even the United States is a corporation set up, right? Like it is what it is. And when you become the private instead of the public, and working in the public under their corporation and to their terms, you just operate in the private. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Is there a risk that if too many people find out about how to do this, then it forces the government to a position where they have to shut it down? Because they can't just have everyone not paying their shit, right? Like, as in, if that curtain is fully pulled
the government would be paying it, right? So then it comes down to, okay, well, what are we doing? We have all this extra debt on the books. What does the government do? They just print more money. Like, it kind of sucks to think about it, but like if everyone does it, like it would obviously destroy the government, I would think. To some level or some degree financially.
I think
it would correct a lot of things.
Based on the research I've seen so far, right, is that the government is bankrupt. And most nations go 100%. Bankrupt multiple times in their lifetime and have gone. So all of the mostly every nation in Europe, the America, they've all gone bankrupt. So if you go bankrupt, what do? You go to your loan, who made your loan, and say, I want to renegotiate my loan. You have to put up some terms, right? You can't just renegotiate your loan with nothing. So they had to put up collateral, right? So every time they have to renegotiate their bankruptcy, then they lose some assets, right? And the assets they have are the people, the earning potential of the people. So they put the people up for collateral, and now there's nothing even backing the currency. They mortgage the people pretty much against the bankers. Mm-hmm. So the bankers are the ones who own everything.
I think sometimes when there's fiat currency collapse, they basically just say, we can't pay it back. Like, you can go to war with us if you want, but like, we can't pay the money back. We never had it. Like, as in, it was all fake to start with, I guess. But I have heard that stat before, that most nations' fiat currencies have collapsed, and it's something crazy like 99.9% of all fiat currencies that have ever existed have collapsed. It's like some insane stat.
Yeah.
It's tough. Right.
It's tough. It's very hard to get or find information on it, and most people who do it don't really want to talk about it publicly.
It's so crazy because that exact reason that you just mentioned.
It's the fiat Ponzi. It's basically like just designed to like. And by the way, the problem is the corruption. Like, there's no problem with having an accounting system that's designated in that has some physical representation like a banknote. There's nothing wrong with that if everyone can just keep their hands out of the cookie jar and not do any corrupt shit. But as soon as like one person who doesn't have like hardcore ethics gets into a position where they can get anywhere in that flow, they just lose their mind.
Apparently, so like in America, I'll give you a little. So I just, based on the research I've been doing, right? It's all possible. It's all hypothetical. Everything we're talking about could or could not be true, right? The Matrix could or could not be real. Weed could not be a real thing. Who knows what's reality? Let's just put that in check right now. We're talking about nonsense, complete gibberish. Let's just be real. So with that being said, they have the War of 1812, right? This is a thing in America we learn about. It's like we learned about it briefly in history. Like just there was a war, 1812. Britain invaded. They burned the White House building. They burned the Congress, the libraries in D.C., and then they left. Okay, that's like all you learn about. I don't know if you remember that, Fred, learning about the War of 1812. Very briefly mentioned. According to what I've learned, is we defaulted on our loan. Like, we didn't pay back our loan, so Britain invaded to be like, hey guys, like, you have to make a national bank. Like we said, no, we're not going to make a national bank. Congress didn't give us power to do that. And the president at the time tried to say, no, we're not going to follow the bankers. We're going to default on our loan. We're not going to do it. And Britain was like, hey guys, like man up. Like we're going to burn your shit down if you don't follow us. So like there's all these historical events that we learn about that kind of get whitewashed. Like for example, even the Civil War, apparently the South wanted to like not follow the bankers and the North wanted to follow the bankers. And so that was the disagreement between the United States. Is the South wanted to become independent? They wanted to get their debt, completely absolved, etc. And the North said, no, we want to stay under the bankers' regime. And that was the reason for the Civil War, according to this ideology. Whether it's true or not, who knows? But
yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all that there would be like stuff left out or like just inaccuracies. Like you'd imagine that even if someone was trying to do their best to give an accurate representation of what happened at a certain time in history, even that would be flawed without malintent. So the fact that there would be people out there that actually want to change the story for various reasons and things like that, I have no doubt. And especially something as big as that, where it would be like a telling conspiracy. No doubt. Hey,
100%. Before
we move on, like Seven got back to me with what that thing was. I said that we had the banger thing for OPSEC. Seven came up with this. A Fight Club parody for OPSEC, where instead of the first rule of Fight Clubs, you don't talk about Fight Club. It's the first rule about OPSEC is that you don't talk about your OPSEC. I.e., because the more information you give about your OPSEC, the more easy it is, or like the better chance an attacker has to mount a credible attack vector because they know what your actual defenses are. So the first rule about OPSEC is don't talk about OPSEC. Don't talk about your OPSEC.
That's
that
smart.
being said as well, what I do want to share is I sent you that image. You get the image, Fred? I sent you an image on Facebook. Did you get it? I thought that was kind of interesting. Oh, unable to send. Hold on, let me send it again. Hold on. Here, you might like this one. This is 2024, the top 10 holders of crypto. Let me get it pulled up.
2020, is this top people or top entities?
Yeah, top entities. Top entities. The top 10 Bitcoin specifically holders for 2024.
Top 10.
Yeah, okay, I just sent it.
So I imagine the US government would still be in there. MicroStrategy.
Oh, that'll be fun. Okay.
So there'll be
two. You named two already.
So maybe some countries.
Okay.
Would El Salvador be in there? Maybe not.
No.
Because they haven't bought a shit ton yet. So, but
do you want to know what number? Do you want to know what number you're at? You want to know what number? Because you named two of the top 10 already. Do you want to know what numbers they are?
Oh, is America number one?
No. You said MicroStrategy and U.S. government. So
yep.
So let's see if you can guess all
10,
or how many you can guess. Okay, so do you want to know what numbers they are? What number slots they are?
Yeah.
Okay, so 6 is MicroStrategy. 7 is U.S. government.
Wow.
So what are we doing? Naming the top 10 companies?
Do you know why I'm saying wow? It's not because of the overtake. It's how long the overtake happened. Like how long it took for someone with such an aggressive purchasing strategy to overtake the United States government that who got their Bitcoin completely for free through seizure. Like that blows my mind.
And that much more.
Is that not? That's so terrible, man. That's so terrible that someone can just 5%? Snatch a bag that took someone else billions and billions of dollars, relentless buying, balls of steel, just to overtake. Now, far out. Freddie, have you got any guesses while I try to think of more obvious? There's got to be some obvious ones in here.
I already sent him the image, so he has it.
Oh, okay. So
I haven't looked at it yet.
I would say
I would probably say Tesla.
No Tesla.
I would say there's got to be at least one more country in there.
Yeah, there is one more country. Man, you're on a roll. Yeah,
Okay.
one more country. You're close, man.
I have a tiny little bit of an edge in this guessing game because I used to look at a site called bitcointreasuries.org that used to actually talk about all the highest. I think Canada used to be right up there.
No Canada now. Not now. Maybe before. I don't know. This is 2024.
Is it Russia? Is the other country Russia or China?
China. You got it. China.
Boom. So okay. So
are there
no
more countries?
I think China has to be. I won't give a specific number guess, but I think China has to be lower on the list than MicroStrategy and the US. Like, so they'd have to be like 7, 8, or 9, like, or 10 or
8,
whatever. Like,
number 8. 8.
8. Okay.
8.
What else? Who else would be on there?
I would never get. Well, there's few that. Well, number 1, you have to know number 1. Who has the biggest wallet? You have to know. That's going to be the easiest one.
But do they put Satoshi on there? Do they count that?
Yeah,
like,
Satoshi's number 1.
It counts. It counts even though they don't know who it is.
And then think of like exchanges.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunately, so they kind of don't count because that's theoretically. I mean, it is. I guess if you believe that it's like if you hold the keys, then it's your keys, your coins. Then technically, the exchange actually does own all those coins. But if you believe in the like, these coins are technically IOU'd out to other users.
I think your keys. I think the exchange would count because they're in the exchange's wallet, right?
Yep.
Even if they're IOU, they're in the exchange's wallet. So I would say the exchange.
So Binance definitely has to be on the list.
Well, okay, right. Yep. What position? Position. Oh, you told him number 2 right after.
Well, he guessed it. I mean, that was pretty good.
Yes, I was going to guess high, like up the ranks. I was going to say, I would have been guessing in the top 5 for sure for that.
They have almost twice as much as the number 3 person.
It's crazy.
So these are big steps. Like these are.
Well, so Satoshi has 1.1 million Bitcoin. Binance has 550,000 Bitcoin. The next largest.
I'm trying to think what the second biggest exchange is. I'm struggling.
305,000.
Well, the next one. Okay, I'll give you a hint. The next one, number 3, is not an exchange.
Oh, okay.
But think about a multi. I mean, if I give any hint, you're gonna know. What's the biggest multinational?
Is it Apple? Is it Apple?
No. Bigger than Apple. Bigger than Apple.
Apple is owned by.
Is it?
Oh, BlackRock.
Probably also one of the largest holders of Apple. Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah.
Is BlackRock
is third?
Is BlackRock number 3? Oh, but again,
305,000.
They're counting the ETF though, which again is that same theoretically owned by a group of other people.
I think they're holding the assets. So they have to hold the equivalent amount.
Custodian.
Yeah, Grayscale is number 5.
So even though they do, it's similar to Binance. That technically, yes, they hold that amount, but they're not meant to all be owned by that entity. Like it's not their personal stack or the company's stack. Really, they're the custodian, like an exchange, but just under a different instrument, right?
Kind of. Well, the ETF is just trading. You're not trading the asset. You're trading the ETF. So they just have to hold the Bitcoin.
No, these ones are spot ETFs. So they actually have to hold the asset. Yeah.
Well, right. But they hold the asset, but they're not trading the asset. So, for example, if the whole ETF market went under, they're not going to trade in their crypto. They still hold their crypto. You know what I'm saying? You don't get any.
They would still technically hold it in a wallet. So that same deal. So same deal as Binance. It's not meant to belong to them, but it kind of does because they hold the keys.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's different because let's harp on this for about 2 seconds.
Wait. So you think it's different to the Binance equation?
For sure, because I think on Binance, they hold it in their wallet because they have KYC responsibility, right? So they have to hold it in their wallet. But then if you transfer it out, you pay a fee from one wallet to another. And, that's how it works, right, with Binance. But with BlackRock, with an ETF, they're creating a whole new asset class that's based on the value of the Bitcoin. So the asset class is the ETF, which they're trading, which is using Bitcoin as the underlying value, but it's a whole different asset class. So that whole market could crash, and their Bitcoin value remains the same. You know what I'm saying? So they're not it's not related. I think it's completely two different things completely.
If anyone in the audience is like an expert with these kinds of things, I'm struggling to see the difference, but it's all right. Like as in,
well, an ETF it's like a whole. It's not Bitcoin, right? They're like it's
I guess all I'm really saying, I might be looking at this in a far too simplistic way, or maybe I'm too high. But my point is that Bitcoin they hold for the ETF, it's not meant to be their Bitcoin. It's not like they use their money to buy the Bitcoin. They're just the custodian. Like,
I think they use their money. No, I think they use their money. Yeah, because I think my
oh shit! So if I've got that wrong, then I'm wrong about the other thing as well, because I'm basing it on the assumption that they are the custodian, not the owner. Like that other people are providing the money to buy it. Like
they might have loans. They might have loans.
So all those ETF inflows, right? All the institutions and everyone that's purchasing that ETF, in my mind, that's their Bitcoin.
Like, no, definitely not. I'm almost positive, because, for example, I think what they're doing is they're saying, "Hey, we have this much available Bitcoin supply in our coffers, in our reserves. Therefore, we can issue this much Bitcoin ETF." So they have to have one for one, just like a stable coin.
Fuck.
It is, but it's a terrible asset class. But it's the only way that you can invest in crypto with your retirement. If you work for like a mainstream organization, you can't you can't get in on the Bitcoin game if you have a traditional 401k for like a bank or an insurance company. You work, a Main Street normal guy, 40, 50 years old, wants to get in the crypto game with his retirement. You can't do that if you're doing it through like your retirement. But you can invest in a Bitcoin ETF, which is held through BlackRock, which allows you to get some of the benefits of investing in Bitcoin without actually investing in Bitcoin, which apparently has all the risk, right? And it's able to be what's the term, Fred? Like when the not nationalized. There's a certain term they use to where it can be protected by government funding. So it's like protected. It's insured.
Securitized?
Not securitized. It's something else. It's like where it's just protected. Like if it's what's the word? There's a certain word that is determined by if it's something on the stock market. Man, it's gonna kill me now. But there's a certain term where if something, you can use your retirement funds to invest in it, and it's protected. So if there's fraud, if there's some sort of bad actors, it will be insured because the government says this is a worthwhile investment, right? So you can use your retirement and no one's worried about someone doing a Bernie Madoff and running away with your money, right? So you get in on the game, but, so that's right, exactly. Oh, here's the chart. So an ETF allows them to get in on it, where just, that's the main point. So yeah, facing reality is right. Number 4 is Coinbase.
Oh yeah, so Grayscale, man, Grayscale would be so pissed that they were the original ETF, and then they could have been this number up here. Like,
well, it's your buying power, right? I think because you have to hold the crypto before you can issue the ETF.
They could have been both together, actually. Sorry, they wouldn't have just had this number. They would have had this number and their number. So they would have had like 500. They would have had 500,000 Bitcoin theoretically, if they hadn't got screwed around with the delays and shit like that. MicroStrategy, right. So Fidelity, and then what's number 10?
That might be the last one. It's Fidelity. Block.1. I don't know that.
That's the only one that I didn't see. Like all the other ones, I was like, oh yeah, obvious. Should have got that one. But this Block 1. I've heard of Block One. I just didn't realize they were such a big player. That's crazy.
What this says to me, the big takeaway that I get from this is that Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Crypto is not going anywhere.
Yes.
You know what I mean? People can say like, "Hey,
Yes.
maybe it's better or worse."
That myth is over now. Like that myth is totally over when people say, "Oh, the government's going to stop it," or like.
But doesn't that go to speak to how, like, maybe now? I think I just saw something on here. I just saw this like 30 minutes ago, going down one of those rabbit holes during the stream. Didn't you say Roger Ver did a stream with Tucker Carlson? Did we not talk about that? So maybe I'm wrong, but I thought he did a stream with him, and he talked about how like the government took over Bitcoin, and Bitcoin isn't what it was originally meant to be anymore, because now it's been infiltrated by basically.
Yeah, I was just about to say the new like myth or whatever is, so people went from saying that the governments would never allow it, so now they can just pivot into, it's clearly like NSA launched, government owned. Do you know what I mean? Like you can just pivot them so that
I have a no-coiner friend. I was actually at his house the day, like on New Year's Eve, when Hex hit a penny and then hit 2 pennies that night. We were talking about this earlier, and they just came over a couple weeks ago. Him and his family, and him and I are talking about it, and he's like, "It's 100% there. It's just to control you." Blah blah blah. He's like, "I'm not saying you're not going to make money off it. Clearly, lots of people have made money on it, but it's there to control you. Like, why would I want to be a part of that?" Well, if they're in it, wouldn't you want to be in it? It's like, I don't know. It does add a little more security to it, but it does take away from its original intent.
It was probably probably government created. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, pretty much every big tech was made by the government. Computers made by the government. Internet made by the government. Everything we have is made by the government. Why would we think that this one isn't? The owner, the creator is anonymous. Yeah, like, I mean, why would we assume that they probably made this setting up for CBDCs, and they did it 10 years ago. And they're like, "Hey, we're going to make this thing so that we can have a new backup currency, and we're going to do that in the year 2050 or 2044."
It's been 15 years now.
Right, exactly. So they probably have a plan. I would assume that there's some.
So the government, the technology that comes out, like everything that we see now that is declassified, was top secret 30 years ago. So the stuff that we're just finding out about now, they were working on 30 years ago. Like, it has to go through that declass period before it's declassified, and it's about 30 years. So like 20 to 30 years. So there's stuff now, and it's longer for some stuff. Like, they still haven't released some stuff, but this
JFK?
they definitely had the technologies and knowledge on how to do a lot of things that we're just seeing now. Look at AI. They've had that so long. They're just releasing us now to what we can have with the AI that they had 30 years ago. Think about that. What they're releasing to us now, they've had for 30 years.
We don't know that for sure, though. Like, as in...
I mean, it's almost... I don't know, man. It's up there. And the same that I'm talking about who came over, he works for a government contractor in D.C. here, where all of them are. And like the stuff that's declassed that he gets to see, that the public doesn't get to see, that stuff is about 30 years, he tells me. So basically what he's seeing, and then the stuff that he's seeing that the public sees, it's going to be like, or it's been like, I don't know, say 15 to 20 years for him to be able to see it. And then like, it's going to be another 5 to 10 years before the public would be able to see it. So by the time it gets to the public, it's already been seen by a larger portion of government and military, specifically military, but has been top secret within those organizations for like 30 years. I'm telling you.
How about Signal? Signal was created originally for government, for the warfare. It was originally created by the CIA or by NSA or one of those 3-letter organizations. I mean, every bit of tech that we love, that we like, started with the government. I mean, the internet was created, you could say, in a university, but really it was a government project.
From a long time ago, right?
It definitely was. I heard it was
like the internet was around in like the 60s or 70s, correct?
Yeah, it was
Like the military had it.
Well, I know that the story is, if you look it up, it was between two universities. I think it was in Boston, like Harvard and something else. They wanted to communicate with an intranet between the two universities. But then you dig deeper. Okay, why were those universities doing that project? Oh, they were funded by the government. It was a government research project in order to make that intranetwork, right? And that was the birth of the internet. So it's like it all comes from the government funding. Whether or not it's the government per se, it's a government contract, and they fund these projects. They say, hey, we want this sort of software developed. We want this
It was
sort
1969. Yeah. 1969. Right. UCLA and Stanford.
Yeah, UCLA. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's West Coast, UCLA and Stanford. So, like, yeah. So then they say, hey, we want these projects, and this is where they put the money. So where they put the money is where they control the development of things. So, I mean, I don't, no one knows, or I don't know anyone who knows, but I have a hunch that Bitcoin was created by the government in some way. I mean, I doubt it was just some dude or a group of dudes who was like, hey, we have a advanced cryptography, and we're gonna make something that's decentralized. That it's too convenient. It's too convenient and we're gonna disappear, and we're gonna leave enough wealth that the U.S. like 1.1 million Bitcoin. How much money is that? That's almost $1 trillion, maybe dollars. I mean, it's a huge number. Who's gonna walk away from it? Who's gonna say,
multiply that by 100?
Right. So add 2 more zeros on top of that.
100,000 actually. Trillion? Yeah. Multiply that by 100,000.
Okay, so
if I had to guess, I personally think it's less than 50% chance that it was created by the government. Like, so, like, while like we don't know and we might never know, my take is that it's less likely that it was just based on like, because now we've got obviously the benefit of hindsight, right? From where we are now.
110 billion.
Right, so who's walking away from $110 billion? Would you walk away from $110 billion? Just sitting there, all you gotta do.
He could be dead.
I guess could be dead. I guess.
What would happen? How bad would the price tank if one Bitcoin transferred out of Satoshi's wallet to Coinbase?
Hard.
If one Bitcoin, 0.01 Bitcoin transferred out of that wallet to Coinbase.
Yeah, it would tank hard, bro. It would tank fucking hard.
And we would find out who it was too. It wouldn't be that fucking. What's that guy in Australia?
Yeah, if it's
trying
on
to claim
Coinbase,
ownership?
it's out there.
Oh, Craig.
What's the Aussie?
Craig,
the Aussie? Craig. Yeah, he's trying to say he's a Nakamoto. Come on.
His shit's so wild. I can't believe he's sued. I can't believe he's like, that shit's like really bad. Like suing, like trying to sue an individual. Like, can you imagine how weak you have to be to go and sue someone for something they said on Twitter? This guy said I'm not Satoshi. What? Like, who gives a shit?
People? Oh, he's trying to really set up a defense.
Yeah, he sued Hodlnaut. He sued Hodlnaut for tweeting that he wasn't Satoshi. Bruh.
Well,
like, can you imagine suing someone for something they said on Twitter? I can't, dude. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine doing it.
Is he in Australia? What is he?
Yeah, he's Australian, which was particularly disastrous because I think Australians have a reasonable rep around the world, but in crypto, he is associated as being Australian, and it's a fucking embarrassment to the whole country, really. Worse than that kangaroo breakdancing chick by far, by the way, for people who care, like for cyberpunks and people and nerds and crypto bros, way worse than that breakdancing situation.
I haven't seen that one yet. I'm looking forward to that. My favorite one is the guy who's doing that paragliding or some sort of like flying in the sky type stuff, and the kangaroo attacks him when he lands. You've seen that video, right?
I have not seen that one. I've seen a lot of crazy videos.
You gotta find that one.
Crazy kangaroo video. I need to see that one. I saw one where a guy demonstrates that the reason they get up on their back legs and start like attacking is because you're towering over them, and so they feel like they need to like make themselves as big as possible to fight the threat. But if you actually lower yourself down, they'll come down to the ground as well. And then when on the ground, they're basically harmless. Like, so it sounds counterintuitive, but the way you deal with a kangaroo about to beat your ass, it's like you actually lower yourself down to the ground in a peaceful manner. It's not a bitch move, by the way. Like, 'cause it's not you being like a cowering little weakling compared to the kangaroo bat towering down over you.
If there's
It's
a
just
wild
like
pit
the nice
bull
thing
coming
to
at
do.
you, you're supposed
So
to
you
just
don't
like
have to
lay
do
down on
animal
the ground. Yeah.
What's this?
So
FBI
FBI
director
Director Christopher Wray just resigned.
What? Like, is this now? Like right now?
This is just now, yeah.
Whoa.
Just now.
Breaking news
And-
on Steak and Bake.
According to Politico, Time Magazine is going to name Trump Person of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
He's
He saved
gonna-
crypto. Wait, he saved crypto.
His legacy is going to be
Yeah,
bad.
he did save crypto.
He's earned it, bro.
Definitely saved crypto. 100%. That's so funny.
He really did. His legacy is going to be completely changed, I think, from like what the people try to push him as from the last term. I think that after this term, my expectation, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I'm very optimistic. I think that his entire legacy, because it seems like the people who were aggressively attacking him have given up. It seems like they've given up. It seems like they're like, okay, we can't beat this guy.
There's still a lot of attacks.
But it's different, right? It seems like there's some teeth have been taken out of him. Am I wrong in that assumption? It seems like there's less teeth than there was before. But I could be wrong.
I would love to be in his head for just a moment, just to know whether he walks around thinking, yeah, this is all legit, or whether he thinks, I can't believe everyone's buying my bullshit. Like, in terms of just only in terms of the confidence, like the confidence level that he
That's
projects. Like, I want to know whether he psychs himself into doing that, or whether it's just whether he actually believes it, like a Kanye West level, drink your own Kool-Aid and believe that you are the. Well, actually, I guess like I also haven't been inside Kanye.
I love Kanye,
but
I wonder.
I believe that Kanye believes I believe that Kanye believes it. Whereas with Trump, I'm not sure whether he really believes it.
But I don't know, because like, okay, here's one example. People say he's full of shit, whatever. But like, he says stuff and people take it out of context, though. Like he said, like put light in your skin. He says simplified it in some way, and then people are like, oh, he's crazy. He's saying put light in your skin and it'll kill COVID. We look up later. Oh no, ultraviolet light does kill COVID. Like, it is true. And he's like, oh, you just take some pill. Like, he just says things like in a simple way, and people already don't like him, so they want him to be wrong. And they like, oh, he's wrong. He's wrong because of this. He said something crazy, and it's like, wait. It turns out a lot of times what he said ends up being true, and it's hard for me to find like, okay, what is he actually right on? What is he actually wrong on? You know, it's really difficult to tell. Like, I don't know if the narrative that the left pushes, or that certain people push, left or right, I don't know. They say, hey, like he's full of shit. I don't know if it's actually true. I don't know if it's actually a real narrative.
I think the social consensus in some groups can sometimes be so strong that people stop looking to see whether to check anything. They just, like, 2 or 3 of their mates say a thing, it becomes facts. And it's
right.
wildest to see people doing it in crypto, because we're supposed to all be free thinkers and be about like self-sovereignty and not outsourcing your thinking to others. And so when I see it, dude, it blows my mind. I'm like, what is going on here?
It's impossible, though. It's impossible to be sovereign or individual thinking. It's not really possible. Like, I think you're the sum of the 5 closest people close to you.
But you can outsource the heavy lifting of finding the concepts that are worth talking about, and then adopt the ones that you believe are accurate or that resonate with you.
Right.
But that's still thinking for yourself in terms of deciding whether or not you're going to adopt something that you learned from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So like what? Whereas I do believe the people around you can have an influence, but if you're strong enough, then mentally, and then you would still be accepting and rejecting what they say by choice.
Right. And not just joining the team and saying, hey, this is, wholeheartedly, I just believe in whatever the team believes without any concept of individuality. Right.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
but it's harder than it sounds. It's way harder than it sounds because people care about their social circle. So they so it becomes, so it becomes harder than it sounds. If people are like, oh, well, I can just adopt this mindset and not lose my friends. So
it's so hard. It's so hard for me to understand that side because I've never had that perspective. Like, I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. Pardon my French, right? Like, if I don't agree, I will agree. Period.
So you've had natural protection against this sort of thing happening. So not caring as much about what others think of you is a form of natural defense against falling into the trap of agreeing with a group of people just because you'd be the odd one out if you didn't.
It's a very weak mindset. I mean, it's a very indication of a very weak person, right? It's like, hey, I'm not strong enough to be in the jungle by myself. I need a tribe. I require a tribe because there might be a snake that I don't know if it's poisonous or not, and I need a medic.
How can I possibly survive solo? Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's crazy. What a weak person. I mean, you would never get anything done.
We've seen it.
Even do anything?
We've seen it a lot recently in the crypto space. Weak, so weak, just weak people. But so I guess like, how did we get onto that topic actually? In terms of Trump and people not reviewing his long form content. Just something so simple that they could easily do with not just with Trump, with anyone, is just like at least watch one video of long form content so that you actually get to see their behavior and how they generally conduct themselves. I know it's not a perfect insight into whether this person is like a good person or a bad person, but it's so much better than just some short clip out of, or by the way, or someone just telling you that it happened and you not even seeing the clip. So you didn't even see the short clip. Your friend just said to you, oh man, did you see that Trump? The asshole said, and you just like, what an a-hole.
Exactly. It's 100% true. It's 100% true. The long form stuff really worked in his favor leading up to this election. He did Rogan. He did like the New York guys, the Schultz. He did not Lex Friedman. He did a whole bunch of long form podcasts. I mean, I must have watched 10 hours of Trump content before the election. You know what I mean? He was really out there, and you got to see like, oh, this guy's a normal guy. He's a normal guy. He's not this devil, this Hitler that people make him out to be. And I think he probably never was. I think he's always been a normal guy. He's the same guy that was on The Apprentice. He's the same guy who had Kanye West in the White House. He's the same guy who was like in Home Alone 2. Like, he's just the same dude forever. You know?
Was he really in Home Alone 2? God damn.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. When Kevin McAllister is like walking in New York, he goes and stays at the Trump Hotel, and he's like walking through the hall, and he like bumps into Trump, and he asks him, he was like, where to go or something like that. I forget. And he's like, oh yes, it's right down that way, or the elevators or something. And then Trump does like a double take, and he just keeps walking. We literally just watched it.
Once you started describing it, I realized I've actually seen this clip. I didn't understand the context of the clip. It did have a caption on it that said something like Trump says hello to Macaulay Culkin or some shit as the thing. I didn't realize it was from a movie though.
There you go, another. It's all out of context, right? Like,
dude, I did not realize it was a movie.
Trump pedophile takes on Macaulay Culkin and tries to abduct him in hotel. Trump meets young Macaulay Culkin in hotel.
Bro.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Am I gonna get like a copyright strike for this?
Maybe. Maybe.
Should I turn the volume down?
I don't know how copyright.
I think if I turn the volume down, this is for like entertainment purposes only.
Good point. And if you turn
Trump's
the
like,
volume,
what the heck?
Oh, baby.
Yeah, so he literally like walks
into.
into Trump Hotel and bumps into him.
He was beloved. People loved this guy for years before he became
Yeah.
president. How about the View? The View situation. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, they loved him too before he announced he was going to run as a Republican.
Then they hated him. It's politics, man. It's a game.
wait,
It's so funny.
you just made me think of something that would actually be really smart if they use the sound rather than the video, because for the video you could put it anywhere on the screen and it might take a lot of like computational power to be comparing videos to see if any part of a video matches a video that you're trying to copyright protect against. That would be like a much more demanding task than just listening for the audio and doing like a Shazam style audio match, and then that would be the way you would do the copyright, the people using your videos and shit like that on their streams. Smart.
Yeah. I also want to touch on something, if I could, real quick. That carbon credit stuff that Tin Top posted. That carbon credit stuff is crazy. You looked into that? Talking about crazy conspiracy theories.
I heard someone say about Elon, like someone said, oh, the only way Tesla survives is you get some kind of like green credits or some shit. I didn't really look into it.
The carbon credits are nuts, man. What they're trying to say is they're trying to, I guess, securitize. I don't know what the proper term would be, but they're saying like, okay, so you have a factory in Europe, and that factory produces X amount of carbon. Okay, so then you have negative credits because you're producing carbon in Europe, but you also own a rainforest. You also own part of the rainforest, and with the rainforest, you produce positive. So the factory produces carbon, and then the rainforest gets rid of carbon, so you're in a balance. Do you see what I'm saying? So you own two assets, and now they're connecting those assets. So you have a credit here and a debit here. So they're trying to like monopolize or turn the world into an asset. So it's a way of utilizing natural resources by saying, hey, you own this part of the forest, and then they're gonna say, okay, how do we protect the forest? If it's an asset, we have to protect our asset. So they're going to put security cameras in all the forest. So their goal is to really put security cameras all over the entire world, because it's going to be personally owned assets to offset their credits in other places. Does that make sense? It's going to end up being a form of currency.
That would be absolutely wild. I was with it until like the final part sounds like a little bit of a leap to that occurring, like in terms of putting cameras through every forest on Earth. But I agree. Like I like the reasoning up until that point of the connection between like then it's basically forcing like first world businesses to own like effectively like just rural native land all around the fucking globe. Like
yes, exactly right. So then that's exactly the argument. So what they're doing right now is they're going into places where Aborigines live, whether it's the rainforest or places, and they're saying, we own this land. It's like they're taking the land from the locals because it's part of their carbon credit scheme. Do you know what I mean? So it's a way of getting their Aborigine people off their land. I think the rainforest is the main, what's the big one in Brazil? The big rainforest, the lungs of the earth. The Brazilian rainforest. What is it called? Anyway, whatever. The Amazon. The Amazon. Oh my God! Jesus Christ! The Amazon.
I didn't.
That's the weed. That's the weed. That's the sativa right there. They're like saying, hey, you know, we own this part of the Amazon, and right now they're making agreements, contracts with the local Aborigine people, and they're like buying their land, pretty much. And then the question is, does the government allow them to buy that land? Right? If they're going to pay the Aborigine people X amount of money, which is more money than they've ever seen in their entire life, the tribes are now millionaires or whatever. equivalent. And then these multinational corporations, they come in and they buy this land, and then the government does the government of Brazil allow that to happen, right? But this is the whole game, is they need more assets. This is the banking game, right? Is they're always securitizing stuff. We need assets to write loans against. We need collateral, constant. We need new asset classes, new things. So this is what the carbon credits are, I think, from what I've researched. I mean, I'm not an expert, obviously. I'm just a guy hanging out in steak and bake. Sorry. That is like, I don't know if it's true or not, but for my preliminary, my light research is that these what these carbon credits are about. I think it's a really interesting topic, man, because we're going to be hearing more about that in the next 10 years. I mean, and they're pushing global warming as a way to push these credits, from what I've seen.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is crazy. Guys, I'm starting to get a bit tired. I may have smoked too much weed. A little bit.
Yeah, no, we're good, dude. It's been a good run. We've gone about 3.5 hours.
3 hours, 40 minutes. So,
dude, I only took that one bong hit at the very beginning where I got ripped, and it took me a solid 45 minutes to get my feet under me. I was like, whoa.
So what happened?
I started coughing, like it got me. It got me.
So what happened here today is we had the digital equivalent of basically Freddie and I being peer pressured by friends of ours to have a sesh, and then those very guys that peer pressured for the sesh to occur then didn't actually show up to the sesh. However, we owe them a thank you because we had a wild time.
We do. Yeah, and this was great.
They absolutely want to join us on the next one, which we'll hopefully do soon. And but yeah, it's been great. Thank you, the audience. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Freddie. This has been incredible.
Pleasure, man. Brother. What do I call you? Tangent?
Oh,
what do I call
tangent.
you?
Tangent.
Okay. Rock and roll. Tangent.
He is the one, the only, the tangent. Take it easy, brother. All right, let's just end it. Let's just go from there. Thanks for jumping on, Ryan. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We've been going for a few hours here, and it's time to get back to adulting. So we'll holler at you guys later. Hey, don't leave yet, Ryan. Don't leave yet. Stay on real quick. Stay on real quick.
Okay.
All right.